Full day in Durham, North Carolina. Anything you want, we've got it, and we're serving it up CIAA style. It's the best in the North versus the best in the South. Can Elizabeth City State pull the upset, or will the dream season continue at Winston Salem? Championship football is coming up next. Welcome to Durham County Stadium. Vikings and Rams vying for a CIAA crown. We've got food, we've got fun, and we have some great football for you here today. Let's show you how we got to this point with our McDonald's CIAA conference standings in the North. Elizabeth City State 6-1, 7-3 overall. They have won 4 straight ball games, and of course Winston-Salem State all red and white in the South. 7-0 in conference play and 10-0 overall. The number 2 ranked team in the country in Winston-Salem State. Hi again, everybody. Scott Przwanski along with Stan Luter. So glad you're with us here this afternoon. You know, Stan, we played an entire year of football. We are right back where we were a year ago. Same 2 teams in a rematch.
It's the same. Funny how that happens, isn't it? Well, these 2 teams have been the best in the CIAA North and South. They're well coached. They're ready for this day. It could be some history made either way you look at it.
All right, let's get right to it. Our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it's real simple. At Elizabeth City, no comfort. They've got to find a way to take Winston-Salem State out of their comfort zone and also have control of their emotions, control the line of scrimmage, and control the ball. And for Winston-Salem State, it can't be great. Durante McNeil has got to be controlled and corralled if they expect to win this game. No peeking. You've got to be able to play this game, not worry about next week's game.
Well, you know, the thing I like most about championship football is the best players rise to the top. Our McDonald's ones to watch now.
Man, you've got some special guys making some special plays. First of all, for Elizabeth City, Brad Davis leads the CIAA in sacks with 11s all the way around the football field, makes plays, can defend. And then you've got Durante McNeil, his 3rd consecutive year where he's rushed for over 1,000 yards. This year running for 13 touchdowns. On the defensive side, Carlos Fields. That was the defensive player of the year in the CIAA. 69 tackles, aggressive, nasty, he makes plays. And then Cameron Smith. What can you say about Cameron Smith? The offensive player of the year in the CIAA, threw for over 2,700 yards and 37 touchdowns.
Well, the crowd is fired up. We're ready to go as well. Vikings and Rams for a championship. We'll kick it off right after this.
Next Gear is reinventing the best-selling Camry.
CIAA Football is brought to you in part by Toyota, powered by the Toyota Green Initiative. McDonald's, deeply rooted in the community, 365 days a year. Nationwide, Nationwide is on your side. And by Food Lion, brought to you by Food Lion.
And just a great day for football here in Durham. So glad you're with us here today. And you tell you what, Stan, CIAA Championship football, this is what it's all about here today. Waverly Tiller, of course, the head coach at Elizabeth City State, 10 years at the helm there. 2-time CIAA Coach of the Year, and Connell Maynard, the head coach of Winston-Salem State. Boy, what a terrific year he has had. Undefeated last year as well. And we are underway. Elizabeth City State deferred on the coin toss, and so they'll kick it off immediately here to Winston-Salem. They've got it, and they'll bring the ball loose. And it's down, and I think the Rams recovered it just outside the 20, and so we're underway. But, you know, interesting decision, I think, Stan, too, for Elizabeth City State to defer. I think they really want to show that their defense can play with this Rams offense here today. That's something they're going to have to do. And they're going to have to do it here on the opening possession, that's for sure. So Elizabeth City State will be on defense. They're in white and blue, and the Rams come out in red and white, and they are high, potent in offense, no doubt about it. Of course, at the helm for Winston-Salem State, their all-conference performer, Cam Smith, the Offensive Player of the Year. And, folks, if you haven't seen Cameron Smith play, you are in for a treat here today. Smith will hand it off first, and the give is to Lewis. Lewis around the left edge across the 20 for a gain of a couple. Maurice Lewis, a guy who sat out a good portion of the season with various injuries, and he's back. They wanted to get him healthy at this point in the season so he can make this push into the championship game and into the playoffs. Take a look at our Toyota starting lineups. Tailback, well, we thought Putu was going to start, but it is Lewis. Of course, Butler and Williams are great wideouts on the edge. And up front, you got Page, Hartung, Lawrence, Gray, all these guys outstanding up front. 4 all CIAA performers on that offensive line for Winston-Salem State. So we've got 2nd and 8, ball on the 23, just underway here in Durham. Smith back to pass. He's got a man down the sidelines and almost caught, but the flag's in the air. Jawan Butler was going up high for it along the sideline, and we'll see what the penalty is. Looks like it's pass interference and a big pickup here for Winston-Salem. Our referee today, Eric Green, your umpire, Stacy Best, and it is pass interference against the Vikings. And so we'll head the other way.
First 2 possessions or first 2 plays for Winston-Salem, stretch run to Lewis. Defense does a good job there. The second pass, couldn't quite see that. It's pass interference. You take a look at the Toyota defensive players. One of the guys to look at, Teddy Williams, does a good job. The Williams brothers. Davis is a guy, number 42. Keep your eye on him. But a big break for Winston-Salem State, and the thing you can't do for Elizabeth City is have those costly turnovers or turns of mistakes. Pass interference on that second play of the game.
Ball's on the 38, 1st and 10. They'll fake the inside handoff. Actually give it to him, and a nice stop up front by the Viking defense.
This is a very good Elizabeth City defense. Teddy Warren, Orlando Barra, Devin Price, Brad Davis. As we mentioned, Davis led the conference in sacks and is one of the players that they think can go to the next level. 19 tackles for loss, but he's got to play a disciplined football game. You can't get too much push-up field. Those running backs and wide receivers go inside of him. Keep your eye also on Justin Beatty, number 26, and Nigel Rios, number 1, the Rover. He'll play all over the field.
Call a loss of 2, so 2nd down and 12 from the 36. Opening possession here of the game for Winston-Salem State. He'll give it to Lewis. He'll try to turn the corner across the 40, keeps his feet alive, and go out of bounds near side of the 45-yard line. And if Winston-Salem State can get their running dimension going, it just makes them that much more powerful on the offensive front.
Well, you don't know if this is a Winston-Salem team that rather run than pass or pass than run. They led the CIAA in total offense. They led the CIAA in rushing offense, and were number 2 in pass offense.
3rd and 3, flags in the air. Smith's going to keep it, crosses the 50, and we'll sort this one out. A couple of flags early in this ball game. You know, hey, these guys are into it. The emotions are flying, and sometimes you just have to settle down a little bit. See the flag against Elizabeth City State.
We're in a 3rd short yardage situation and a legal substitution on Elizabeth City. So on the first drive, you elect to play defense, and your defense is playing well, and you've got 2 penalties that amount to giving Winston-Salem State 2nd and 3rd opportunities with the ball. And this is a lethal offense. If you haven't seen them, as you said, 46 points a ball game they average. You don't want to give them a chance to have the ball any longer than they need it.
Smith in an empty backfield. He'll put Massey in motion. Well, fake the handoff. Smith will keep it himself. And into the Vikings territory here on their opening possession.
Tried to reverse to Jameez Massey. Looks like they kind of collided shoulders. But again, Cameron Smith, who's been equally adept with his legs and his passing arm. 84 rushes this year, 288 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Remember, the first touchdown scored in the Shaw game 2 weeks ago on this same field was a drive led by Cameron Smith.
Ball at the 43, again, empty backfield for Smith. As the Rams look to drive down on their opening possession. Smith with plenty of time. He'll rifle it here near side, and a nice defensive stop there by William Davis, the senior, stepping up from Chesapeake, Virginia.
And that's something, Scott, that Elizabeth City must do this afternoon. They're going to be locked up in a lot of man coverage, a lot of one-on-one battles with these awesome wide receivers in Winston-Salem. You have to be a sure tackler. William Davis comes up from his safety spot and makes a very strong tackle on a speedy Jameez Massey.
Calling 3rd and 5 and movement at the line of scrimmage. We'll see if Elizabeth City State was drawn off guard or they just trying to get a good jump on it here. Again, our referee, Eric Green, today, and Mr. Green's been busy here in the opening drive here for the Rams. And yet another penalty here against the Vikings, and that just continues to move the ball down the field here for Winston-Salem.
Elizabeth City was only penalized 81 times this year for about an average of 77 yards, 7th in the CIAA. But again, the drive pretty good defensively. They're making some solid tackles, but again, you've given them, what, 20 yards, 25 yards in penalties on this first drive.
So the offsides against the Elizabeth City State front, and that'll put the ball on the 45 here for our coach Connell Maynor and his Rams club that comes in ranked number 2 in the country. Undefeated regular season last year, undefeated regular season this year. They've got their eye on a second straight CIAA championship, and they are talking national championship in Winston-Salem as well.
One game at a time is what Maynor says, but their eyes eventually on getting to the natty, the national championship is what they call it, getting to the natty.
1st and 10 from the 40. And a busted play and well read, and that'll be a loss.
This is the second time they've tried the little reverse or trying some action there and getting the inside play with Massey. A nice tackle. Watch this again. Open tackles. Brad Davis comes in. Another tackle for loss. That gives him 20 on the season.
Well, you can see why the senior is an all-CIAA performer for the second straight year. Davis said nothing about it. I'm coming right at you and I'm putting you down. So a loss of 10, 2nd and 20 now for Winston-Salem State as they move back to the 50-yard line. This is Smith, and he'll hand it off again. Lewis, he's got room across the 40 and gets it back just past the original line of scrimmage.
Lewis, like you mentioned, was injured a lot of the season, but yet still ran for over 500 yards. Once again, was the backup last year to Nick Cooper, who ran for over 1,000 yards and over 22 touchdowns. Lewis is a power guy, can get inside and get out, and he's got fresh legs because he has not played an entire season. High school star down in Lumberton, rushed for over 3,400 yards in his high school career.
We'll call it 3rd and 9 from the 39 for Winston-Salem State. Smith again will hand it to Lewis. Tries to elude a tackler. He does. Got to get to about the 30 for a first down. Didn't quite get there, but again, more laundry on the field here on the near side. And play the play. We'll see, Stan. This Elizabeth City State defense has been very active. And here they come up hard on Lewis.
Lead draw. Got to break one tackle there. And you see the laundry coming down. Michael Williams misses Lewis the first time.
So the call is a hold against Winston-Salem State. And on 3rd and 9, Elizabeth City State is going to back up the Rams. And we'll push the ball back to about the 38. Check at the 42. And we'll go with a 3rd and 12 now for the Rams.
Winston-Salem State 51% on 3rd down conversions this season, 67 of 131.
Smith will keep it this time, and he goes down. Brad Davis, the senior, in the backfield with his second play from behind the line of scrimmage, and the Rams will have to punt.
And a very impressive defensive stand by Elizabeth City. Watch Brad Davis at the top of your screen. Just gets to him completely past the offensive tackle there, Michael Page, and brings him down. Brad Davis having a very solid first possession. 2 tackles for loss, 1 safety, a sack, I should say.
So 4th and long here, and Winston-Salem will punt it away. This is Landon Thayer. Nice driving kick will go inside the 5, and it's picked up by Huff, and he goes down. Is it a safety, or will he get out? Boy, a gutsy return here by Huff. He'll keep it, but Elizabeth City State will have it when we come back deep inside their own territory. Back with more after these words from your local CIAA stations.
It's
ball spotted right smack on the 2-yard line for Elizabeth City State for their opening possession. But as far as their defense goes, Stan, they got a big stand here to begin the ball game. And Elizabeth City State will be deep inside their territory. Of course, the starting quarterback, Naaman Jones, first-year starter, a senior from Brandywine, Maryland, really manages the game here for this Viking club. And in the backfield, of course, you've got Durante McNeil. And quick hitter for McNeil, and he gets out to about the 5-yard line. Take a look at our starting lineups here for Elizabeth City State. This is a group led by Jones at the quarterback slot, and of course McNeil we told you about, all CIAA performer, and up front you got Wilkins and Vital and wide receivers Strickland and Westland. Keep an eye on those guys. They can certainly hurt you if you leave them alone, but this is what Elizabeth City State wants to do. They want to control possession and they want to run the football. Your Toyota defensive starters, Owens, Tripp, Davenport, Wilkins, and of course number 44, Carlos Fields, the defensive player of the year in the conference this year. And the secondary, Tate, McGill, a good group there as well. A lot of folks talk about this.
Salem State. He got Winston Salem State back at Elizabeth City up. You see a lot of movement there, but what Elizabeth City's going to do is throw short yardage if you can.
It's a 3rd and 5, and it's complete out at the 30 for a first down. That's Darius Wesson, the senior from Winston, North Carolina, hauls it in, and a big gain and a big 3rd down conversion early here for the Vikings.
A lot of McNeil, so get ready for that. And they're able to get him off the goal line, and a nice throw to the outside for Wesson. Wesson only with 9 receptions this season. But again, you see a very comfortable offense right now for Elizabeth City. They know what they're going to do, and Winston-Salem knows they're going to put a guy in the box.
1st and 10 from the 30. McNeil again, nowhere to go. Maybe a short gain of about 1. And it'll bring up 2nd down.
Okay, if you're Elizabeth City, you've got to be very patient. We talked about being comfort, and you've also got to dominate this line of scrimmage. Winston-Salem State, Scott, knows that they're going to try to run first and then pass and massage the tempo of this ball game. So expect to see Winston-Salem put a lot of guys in the box, led by Carlos Field and 38 Daryl Mungan.
Another penalty, and it looks like this one will go against the Rams on a 2nd and 9. May have been Donnie Owens jumping off sides there. So offsides against Winston-Salem. Referee Eric Green. And take a look again here, and yep, just jump up there at the top side of the line.
Ball now 36-yard line.
So the ball on the 36 and a 2nd and 4 for the Vikings. They're up to the top of the field. That's Strickland. And that will move the chains again for Elizabeth City.
We've talked about the wide receivers of Winston-Salem State, Butler and Massey, and Brantley and Williams. But the wide receivers at Elizabeth City feel like they're being slotted. Antonio Huff and Keith Strickland. We saw Wesson. And then don't forget the speed guy, Gary Langston, number 13. They've got to step up when called upon today.
Ball on the 47. It's McNeil over the left side. Keeps the legs driving. And another nice gain on the ground for McNeil, as a host of Rams are there to bring him down.
McNeil's a workhorse, does not mind carrying the football. In his last couple of ball games, he's carried the ball 44, 37, and 27 times respectively. He's not going to get tired. They're going to get him in there. And when he goes out of the ball game, don't forget about Kevin Swain or Petey Boone. But a good job on the offensive line. Vincent Mean, number 77, 6'3", 360 pounds on the tackle on this side. He's a pulling guard. Sometimes he's a big, nasty tackle a lot of other times.
So Jones under center. He's got number 11, Petey Boone, in the game now as McNeil gets a breather. We'll go up top again. One-on-one coverage and penalty on the play. Darius Wesson was battling, and it will be pass interference against Winston-Salem State.
Locked in man coverage again. If Winston-Salem's going to give you the outside shot, then you're going to have to take that nice 3-step drop. Jones puts a lot of air in this ball, and you see the contact there by Daryl Bullion. So both teams have been victim early, Scott, of pass interference calls. You can see the coaches are going to put the ball in the air, and they're going to go to steady receivers, locked in man coverage. That's an easy call.
Yeah, 15-yard penalty, and brings up a first down again deep inside Winston-Salem State territory. Winston-Salem State, 3 penalties for 30 yards. So 1st and 10 from the 32. This is Boone over the right side. And not a whole lot there.
Petey Boone, the transfer, was a quarterback at one time, transferred from Western Carolina, has come up the last couple of ball games and really been solid. 36 carries this season for 3 touchdowns. Had the 2 touchdowns and 101 yards against Bowie State last week in that 14-13 win. And he's just a welcome addition to the backfield. Kind of gives McNeil a breather every now and then. McNeil's back in the ball game.
Yeah, you saw Barry Tripp, the all-conference performer, big number 98, come in and make the stop there for the Rams. 2nd and 6 from the 28. They'll go up top again, wide open and over the outstretched arms of Keith Strickland. I think Damon Jones would want to have that one back. Strickland had his man beat.
They're so concerned with trying to stop the inside running of McNeil. The cornerbacks and safeties are a little relaxed. This should have been 6. Strickland kind of gives up on it and shorts on him. You see, he's 4 or 5 yards away from Larry Hearn. Hearn completely beat, was caught peeking inside. Strickland down the sideline. Should have been 6 for Elizabeth City.
And some confusion on the field, or is it a timeout? We'll see.
The Vikings will take the timeout.
Well, 5:35 to play here in the first.
No timeout. We're ready for play.
Okay, no
Well,
timeout.
they had to reset. The game clock had gotten down to about 12 seconds, and they were trying to get that back up to 25, and then they're ready to play.
So again, Jones under center, McNeil in the backfield again. Affect the handoff, or will they give it? They will give it to McNeil over the left side. Gets a couple, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Making the stop, number 13, Rowe.
The tempo of this ball game, as you get a chance to look there at the Winston-Salem Brain Trust, and this guy, Connell Maynard, 32-3 in his first 35 games as the head coach of Winston-Salem State. He's done a phenomenal job. And there you get to find out about the kicking game. Simon's longest of the season was 44 yards early in the year against Albany State. And on the outside, just think of his face. Look at the outside top of your screen. That's McNeil.
And another whistle on the field, and get a look at Brett Simons as Winston-Salem State's going to get a timeout. There was some confusion there on the special teams play, and an alert timeout potentially here for Winston-Salem State.
That'll be a 30-second timeout.
Impressing your guests with a tailgate party is easy at Food Lion.
So Connell Maynard bring his group over, and we'll take a timeout when we come back. 4th down, Elizabeth City State looking to put 3 on the board here early.
Eliminate deductibles. Nationwide.
So it'll be a 43-yard field goal here for Elizabeth City State as Brett Simons will eye it up. Senior from California.
Will Boyette's the backup quarterback's a holder, but on the outside you've got number 8 McNeil, and I think that's what Connell Maynard saw. Let's see if he can get this off.
Ball up. And it is good. So Elizabeth City State strikes first, a 43-yard field goal by Brett Simons. And the Vikings are on the board 3-0 as they score on their opening drive here in the first. 10 plays, 71 yards, and the 43-yard field goal for the Vikings.
That's a very impressive drive for Elizabeth City State University. Vikings have got to be excited. The defense stepped up and keeps the offense of Winston-Salem State off the field.
Well, it was a 10-play drive also for Elizabeth City State. What they want to do is keep that Rams offense off the field.
If you're superstitious or anything, Scott, I don't know how you think about this, but the team that scored first has won 6 out of the last 12 CIAA Football Championships. So again, something to give you some momentum if you're an Elizabeth City fan. And the team that's leads at halftime is 8-3 in championship ball games. So again, getting off to a fast start and maintaining that through periods of play is important. Now, here's a question. What will the adjustments be? We've seen both teams go offensively and defense. What will Connell Maynard do now on his offense? Let's see if they're going to throw the football.
So Simons to kick things off here for Elizabeth City State. Back deep, it's Sherman and Massey. This will drive deep into the end zone, and Massey's going to bring it out. He's got a lane across the 20, and another penalty on the field. Flag on the field will short things out as Winston-Salem State brings their offense back on the field for the second time here in the first.
With the marker.
So for Winston-Salem State, they got inside the territory of Elizabeth City State in the first drive, but backed up and backed up.
Illegal block in the back. Number 35 on the receiving team. They had the distance to the goal. First down.
That is the call. Illegal block in the back.
So they got Quentin Vaughn on the block in the back. We'll back things up inside the 10, and that's where Cameron Smith will bring this Rams offense.
Ball now running on the 7-yard line.
Call it the 7, and 4:37 to play here in the first. Durham County Stadium, and the Rams
4:37 remaining.
trail it 3-0 here early. Smith will hand it on the end around to Massey, and he is met hard right at about the 5-yard line.
Wow, William Davis has already been on one big play, making a second one, coming back from the safety spot. Keep your eye on 29. They stretch this play to the outside. Keeping leverage, keeping containing. A nice job by number 4, does a good job of Josh Brooks. He keeps him from turning the corner and coming inside to make the play. Scribbing is that guy, William Davis.
Yeah, William Davis coming up big, a senior. He wants to take that trophy home to Elizabeth City. So second down now for the Rams. Smith's going to keep it. He'll fire it this time and threw it behind the intended receiver, Jamal Williams. Let's take a look at our nationwide trivia question. Who holds the record for the most rushing TDs in a championship game? Who holds the record for the most rushing touchdowns in a championship game? Our nationwide trivia question. Get that answer to you as our broadcast moves forward. But third down and long now for Winston-Salem State.
Winston-Salem faced with yet another third down situation. All their first downs have been aided by penalties.
So here's Smith back to pass under pressure. He'll go down.
He's going to get this work. Is this a safety?
See the ball loose. Ball's loose, and Elizabeth City State thinks they've recovered it. And they have. We'll call it a touchdown, Elizabeth City State.
Pressure again. They said they were going to have to bring a lot of pressure. William Davis jumps from the weak side. Wow, there's the ball. He comes out. Cameron Smith, can't tell you folks, I'm sorry. It's a lot of people in there, but somewhere Elizabeth City comes up with it. But William Davis does a great job of coming up, and Brad Davis too, of making that play. We said the Davis crew had to step up, and they've done it.
Boy, Brad Davis, the senior, has been coming up big here in the first quarter. And Cameron Smith had no chance that time on the rollout.
Talking to Waverly Tiller this week, he said we've got to take them out of their comfort zone. We've got to put some pressure on quarterback Cameron Smith.
And on the Elizabeth City State sideline, some confusion now as they couldn't get the right personnel on the field.
And you've got to, both teams, Scott, right now, you've got to maintain their emotions. This is the first time Winston-Salem State's been behind. This is the first time Elizabeth City's had this kind of lead in the championship game. Watch the pressure there. Davis comes down, and I think he takes the football out of Smith's hands and then come back. They're going to give William Davis, the all-conference defensive end, credit for the touchdown and also maybe a sack. But this is a very impressive start for the Elizabeth City State Vikings, but you've got to maintain your poise right now. This is a long way from being over, and having to call a timeout because you don't have your team ready to go or your guys aren't emotionally into it for the point after touchdown, the things that can come back to haunt you.
Simons will trot back on the field for the extra point. And Simons will put it through the upright. No, check it. Say it didn't go through. No good. Misses it. So we'll stay at 9-0. Elizabeth City State leads it early here in Durham.
If defense and IT are your game, AFCEA has your bases covered in the greater D.C. Baltimore area. Play ball in any of our 13 local chapters. Hear an all-star team of speakers at the Service IT Days, Industry Days, Agency IT Days, breakfasts and luncheons. Network with the pros and rising stars at galas, golf tournaments, and mentor-protege events. Join the future pros at the student chapters and clubs. Catch a scholarship or science teaching tools grant. Find out more at www.afcea.org.
Dave owed back taxes. After being hit with a wage garnishment and a bank levy, Dave struggled with his finances. He thought all was lost. Then he found out about U.S. Tax Shield.
If you have been threatened with a wage garnishment, bank levy, or tax lien, call 1-800.
Elizabeth City State getting on the board here in the first quarter with their defense.
Watch this. Davis makes the play. That's only the second touchdown scored on a fumble recover in the championship game history. You got to go back to 2004. A guy by the name of Devin Chapman had a fumble recovery return against Fayetteville State and Shaw University.
This is Massey out of his own end zone. He slips as he comes across the 10-yard line, and again, it will be poor field position here for Winston-Salem State.
Now, there's going to be a time in this game, and I don't know when it's going to be, maybe this possession, where you can't play solely on emotion. You've got to then start to execute, both for Winston-Salem State. This is the first time, like I said, they've been behind for any concerted amount of time. And for Elizabeth City, you've got to maintain a long game. You don't have to start jumping up and down. You got a lot of football yet to play. Remember, this Ram team scored 46 points per ball game.
Well, you look at the sidelines for Winston-Salem State right now. No panic, but there is a little bit of shell shock, I think, the way this game has started out. But again, a senior-laden club here for Connell Maynor. And this guy under center can lead his team in a hurry, and that's Cameron Smith. Hand it off to Lewis. Again, not much there on the right side.
The thing that Winston-Salem hurts is you've got outstanding wide receivers at time, with 3 wide receivers set to the left, and you try to go back inside. Michael Davis, William Davis, all them Davis guys is coming in there trying to make some plays. And Lewis, a very strong runner, finds very little running room.
And it's Michael Williams that comes up that time. 66 tackles on the senior. Quick hitter here on the near side. That's Massey. Shakes and bakes. Nice stutter move. He'll go back to the middle of the field. Massey across the 35, but it might come back as yet another penalty here on the field.
And this might be a block in the back against Winston-Salem State. You see that a lot in the open field, and those quick screens are a hold.
And the preliminary signal given by the referee, holding. Charged against the Rams.
So it will be a hold against the Rams. You see Massey is really upset as he comes off the field.
We will repeat the day.
But you saw the speed that time also with Jamez Massey, a high school All-American, went to junior college up in Lewisburg, not far from here. Was a junior college All-American, and again, open field speed, trackster speed, has that 4.5, 4.6 ability. And again, Winston-Salem State caught with the hand in the cookie jar.
They'll move the ball back to the 15 for second down.
Number 6, Cameron Smith calling the signal.
Again, Maurice Lewis in the backfield. Fake the handoff. Smith just a quick dump over to Lewis. He'll break a tackle across the 20, and it's about out to the 25-yard line.
To take away some of this rush that you're getting from the outside by Teddy Warren and Brad Davis, Connell Maynor is trying to go with misdirection, some counter, and then some screen passes. They love to dump things right over lineman's head, but that time, Nigel Rios, who we talked about, plays a lot of positions. You see him initially come out to the outside, but then Rios comes back to the inside of the play, and bam, is in on the tackle. Again, if you're Elizabeth City, you've got to be a game tackling football team.
Yeah, much like they did right there on the handoff inside to Lewis. And that will bring up a second down. And we have an injured Viking player on the field.
I think that might be Rios.
It was Devon Price, number 99, who came in and made the stop. I think you're right, Stan. I think that is Nigel Rios, the junior from Washington, D.C. Quite a bit of pain on the field. This guy came in, 69 tackles, tops for the team, does a little bit of everything.
This would be a huge loss for Elizabeth City. Not only is he one of the leaders and tacklers on the team, second time he's made all CIAA, but he's an emotional leader of the team. And he looks like he's in a very lot of pain right there. He's holding his right knee.
He does it on defense and certainly, you know, special teams as well. He's blocked 4 kicks. And as you said, this could be a tough blow here for Elizabeth City State. Coaching staff out on the field and tending to Rios. Well, he's in a lot of pain. Certainly hope he's okay.
Again, the play fake, pressure right there. Needs to drop down. Can't exactly. Let's see. Keep your eye on Rios. Couldn't tell there. But now, and you see across the field a lot of concerned Viking fans, the Elizabeth City team outside the hash marks, all on one knee.
This Elizabeth City State defense. Rios, William Davis, Michael Williams, Brad Davis. And look again here and we'll see, but this defense has really set the tone at the beginning of the ball game.
You can't see right there.
Seems like he hit awkwardly when Rios came in on the
flies. Yeah, when Rios flies in the air. We can't conjecture here, but hopefully he'll be okay. And now what you've got to do is what Waverly Tiller's always said, and most coaches will tell you, next man up. Who's the next guy that's going to come in and follow Rios? It'll be Demetrius Hamilton may step into that rover spot. Rios looks like he's a lot better than he was early on.
Yeah, and the good news is you see him walking off under his own power right now, and certainly hope that young man's okay and will be able to return to action here for the Vikings as this game moves forward.
Demetrius Hamilton, I should say, will replace Rios. Young sophomore, a lot of upside to him. Let's see if Con Almeida tries to pick on that side.
So a 2nd and 9 from the 26. We'll give the ball to Patrick Putu, who just checked in.
Good look there at Hamilton, 5'9", 178-pound sophomore. Get another 3rd down situation for Winston Salem State.
So the ball on the 34 and a 3rd and short for the Rams. This is Smith, a handoff, and it'll be a 1st down and then some. DeQuan Leak with the 1st down, and the Rams move it into Viking territory.
Yeah, you showed 3 wide receivers at the top, just a quick little dive play. But again, because you're so wide on the field, it doesn't leave a lot of defenders to cover ground. Trying to open up the inside. DeQuan Leak, the 3rd running back we've seen so far from Winston-Salem State.
Ball's on the 47, 1st and 10. 1 minute to go here in the 1st quarter. Leak will get it again, and he gets hammered right at about the line of scrimmage. Elizabeth City State won the coin toss. They deferred to the 2nd half and put their defense out on the field, and their defense has done the job here in the opening quarter. So for Winston-Salem State, it will be 2nd down and call it 9.
Not quite sure why the clock stopped.
The play clock, now they'll get the play clock synced up with the game clock, and we're back in action. Cameron Smith says, I don't care what the time says, give me the ball, let's get this offense rolling here. Rams are trailing 9-0, fake the handoff. Smith under pressure, he goes down again. Brad Davis. Big number 42 back in the backfield again.
Brad Davis is just too quick to have a tight end to try to get his hands on it, but not quick enough to get there. Jerry Chandler just kind of chucked him and moved. And yeah, Mr. Davis, I salute you because you are coming hard and fast right now. 2 sacks on the afternoon.
Brad Davis wreaking havoc, and an injured member of the Rams offensive unit on the field now. Another injury here in the first quarter. Called a loss of about 7. And it will bring up third down for Winston-Salem State.
I think that's Michael Page, number 70, that's down. But watch Brad Davis, outside rush. Chandler doesn't get a hand on him, and look out, bam!
And there at the end of the play, you see Page go down.
Grabbing his left ankle, it looked like.
It's kind of the worst fear for an offensive lineman. What happens after the play? There's just so much going on below the knees. Page, a senior, 6'5", from Ohio. 310 pounds. They're going to make sure he's in good shape before they bring the big fella up. You see them tending to his right leg.
Got to give Michael Hilliard, the defensive coordinator for Elizabeth City, a lot of credit. His team has been very aggressive as we get a look at Page. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in. This is going to be a very physical, hard-hitting game. Rios already down. Page now walking off, limping off the field. But Marcus Hilliard, the defensive coordinator, has done a very good job so far in mixing up not only coverages but being aggressive to the outside, letting Davis, who didn't have a particularly great game last year in the CIAA championship, try to let him be aggressive, use his speed against the outside, the technique guys, the tackle, the tight end of Winston-Salem State. And so far, he's won those battles.
And you see Page being helped off the field. Very gingerly will he walk to the sidelines, and will actually head. They'll take him back into the locker room to get a look at that foot. Well, that'll do it for the first quarter. We've played one quarter, and Elizabeth City State shocking the number 2 ranked team in the country. Vikings lead it 9-0. Beautiful day here in Durham. Start of the second quarter. Handoff up the right side. It was about 3rd and 18 for Winston-Salem State. They give that ball to Daquan Leak. Nice gain, and I think it'll call it just a couple yards short of the first down marker.
That second effort by Leak getting there, make some plays. As you look real quickly at those stats, Scott, something very, very interesting you're going to see in a second. Look at the time of possession. Winston-Salem's had the time of possession. First quarter stats brought to us by Toyota. But again, first downs, everything's equal, but Winston-Salem, no points. Only the second time this year where they've been held to 0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, only 17 passing yards for a very lethal offensive attack for Winston-Salem State. And another man shaken up on the field. He's okay, he'll pop up. Leak picks up enough for the first down, and the Rams will keep moving here into Elizabeth City State territory.
Mr. Salem's doing a nice job of mixing up the short run and the pass. If you're Elizabeth City, you've got to stay aggressive, but you've got to also be smart and continue to play your rules.
Ball spotted on the 42.
Butler to the lower part of our screens in man coverage.
Here's Cameron Smith. He'll drop it off instead to Leak. Leak's got a blocker out in front across the 35, and a nice gain on the short pass to Daquan Leak.
18 different guys have caught passes for Winston-Salem State. They're not afraid to look deep and throw underneath. Daquan Leak does a great job of just making a little chip block and then turning and being ready to catch the football for positive play.
So 1st and 10 now for Winston-Salem State. Actually, we'll call it second down. 13:35 to play, 2nd and 2. Smith will keep it. He's got clear sailing ahead, tucks it under across the 20. He's at the 10 and knocked down at about the 8-yard line. Cameron Smith tucking it down and doing it with his feet.
Winston-Salem takes the credit of the aggression of Davis. They block to the inside. There's the play fake. And you see nobody. Heads turn right there. And Leak I mean, this guy is a very tough runner. Cameron Smith can make you pay for it on his legs or in the air. That time, the play fake, he carries inside. Winston-Salem State, now the offense is rolling.
Ball's on the 8. First down from the 8 for the Rams. Trying to get on the board here, trailing 9-0. Smith will throw it out. He's got Williams. Williams around the corner, touchdown, but there's a flag on the field, and I think they got Brantley with an illegal block.
He got him for a hold, I think. Nice little quick screen. Again, they do a lot of one-on-ones. You get a look at this replay, you're going to see a nice little catch. Play fake holds those linebackers quick, and you can see Tevin Brantley right there to the inside. He knew it immediately, got the hand in, and then popped it out.
That'll back him up 10 yards from the spot of the foul. And a tough break for Connell Maynor and his Winston-Salem State offense.
That's the 6th penalty of the day for Winston-Salem State, Scott. Again, Connell Maynor will tell you right now, our offense is clicking, but we're not on all cylinders like we should be.
Ball will be moved back to the 15 now. Stay at first down. That's Lewis in the backfield, Smith under center. He'll roll out to his right. Smith's going to keep it under pressure again. Just gets it away, and pass will fall incomplete. Intended for Jamie DeGeer.
Julius Williams does a great job of distracting and getting a hand in there, but messing DeGeer. But again, you got to put the pressure inside on Davis. Brad Davis, 42. Make Smith throw this football just a second or two before he wanted and did not quite have his feet set.
Are you surprised here early at how well Elizabeth City State's front has been able to get to the backfield?
They said that they had seen some things that they needed to work on in that previous game, that they got caught a step behind. No, because they play tough defense. But again, Winston-Salem's helped them a few times.
Second down. Smith will hand it off this time. Spinning across the 10-yard line is Lewis.
What you have to concern yourself with if you're Elizabeth City is, can you maintain this pace defensively, this emotion, because you feel like Winston-Salem is getting their offense in rhythm. Even though they're not picking up huge yards, they're picking up plays. Boom, boom, boom. Fake, counter, comes in, one hit there, second bounces off. We just get a quick look at Rios back in the football game. And that's a welcome sight if you're an Elizabeth City fan.
So it'll bring up 3rd and goal. Rozier in the backfield along with Lewis.
Rozier's caught 7 passes. You can look for him out of the backfield.
Cameron Smith's going to keep it in his hands. Over the middle, he's got Williams. Did he get in? Touchdown Rams.
Jamal Williams in the slot does a great job. Quick drop. Pass comes right at you. You did a good job of getting inside the injured Rios. I think he caught the ball and then was tackled and brought it back, but a nice catch. Only the player could catch it was Williams, and the Rams are on the board.
PAT is up, and it is good. 16 plays, 85 yards as Winston-Salem State's on the board. Second quarter action continues here from Durham.
Right now, save big on beautiful flooring from Luna. Add style to your home and experience Luna's convenient service. The more you floor, the more you save. Buy 1 room of flooring, get all other rooms of product for only $50 each. Now you can afford to floor the whole house. Buy 1 room of flooring, get each additional room of product for just $50. At Luna, we work for you.
877-241 Luna.
Dish Network claims they have more HD channels than DirecTV. But what Dish doesn't tell you is that 24 of their HD channels are only in high def, part of the time. So with Dish, when you turn on your flat screen, you might get HD, or you might not. DirecTV now has over 170 HD channels, all in high def, all the time. The most full-time HD channels. Another reason 30 million people agree. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Here, there, everywhere. The #1 satellite TV service in the world has been set free. Introducing DirecTV Everywhere. Now your favorite shows and movies are right where you want them. Anytime, anywhere. All at no extra charge. Download the free app today or go to directtv.com/everywhere. Now you can take it with you.
crowd's into it here in Durham. 16 plays, 85 yards, 6:41 off the clock on the touchdown pass to Williams as the Rams get on the board here in the second quarter. Landon Thayer will kick things off here for Winston-Salem State. Back deep, Tyree Drakeford and DJ Standback. 11:53 to play second quarter. It was Elizabeth City State with 9 points in the first quarter to go up 9-zip before that answer by the Rams. Drakeford will lose this one into the back of the end zone. We'll touch it back, and the Elizabeth City State offense will trot on the field. So as Naaman Jones comes on the field to lead this Viking offense, it averages about 354 yards a game. Really kind of split it up, 156 on the ground, 198 through the air. And Naaman Jones, you see 2 or 3, 34 yards. But if they're going to win this ball game eventually, number 8, Mr. McNeil, is going to have to get it done for this Viking offense.
Well, what they've got to do is they've got to maintain poise and balance. And if McNeil's going to carry the ball 30, 40 times, that means that they're controlling the line of scrimmage. And that means that they're getting some positive plays.
Ball's on the 25. We'll swing it out into the backfield to Riddick for a nice gain.
They talked about the ability to make plays on first down. Last year, they felt like the first and second down play calling was not very advantageous. They were always playing uphill on third down. This time, you know that you're looking for 7 or 8 guys in the box. You try to throw underneath. You bring Riddick out of the backfield. His only first catch of the season, but yet that's good. Look at the number of guys that are at the line of scrimmage from Winston-Salem State.
It's a pickup of 10, so first down from the 35 for the Vikings. This is Jones. He'll air it out again and overthrows the intended receiver. Nice defensive coverage that time by Daryl Pulliam. All right, we told you our nationwide trivia question earlier in the first quarter. Who holds the record for the most rushing TDs in a championship game? And your answers at home, are you right? Nick Cooper with 3 back in 2011.
Last year, Cooper ran the ball so efficiently.
Hand off to McNeil. He'll pick up a few.
You see, if you're Elizabeth City, you want to try to be able to stretch the field and get McNeil outside the tackles. The one thing you don't want to do is you want to manage this game like it's late game. So McNeil's got to stay in bounds. What that does is keep the clock obviously moving, but you're taking time away from the Winston-Salem State quick strike offense. Huge third down situation now for Elizabeth City. 3rd down 5.
3rd and 5. They'll go to the air and over the outstretched arms of Langston and nearly picked off, and the punting unit will come on the field for the Vikings.
Not sure if Langston was crossed up on this quick drop and he just stops on the route. The pass was high, nevertheless, could have been intercepted by Larry Hearn. Langston says, over my head. But you feel a momentum swing, and a lot of it in terms of the play calling situation.
Jamez Massey will be back at about his own 25 to receive the punt. Massey, all CIAA performer, punt return specialist. He'll catch it at about his 20. He's got room on the right side. The wall setting up. Massey will cut it back. He's got room across the 50 and into Elizabeth City State territory. Jamez Massey getting the Rams fired up. They've got great position, looking to score back-to-back touchdowns. Championship football here in Durham.
With the first-timers, with the triple dog darers, wherever you belong where you're appreciated. Nationwide Insurance doesn't have shareholders, so we can protect our members first. This is your invitation.
Well, you look at Massey here, Stan. What do you like about the way he returns this football? Sets up his blocks, and boy, he's got some speed as well. Jamez Massey, who averages just about 23 yards on a return. On our Toyota replay, you can see why he's one of the best in the conference. So first down for Winston-Salem State, and a nice hard run That time by the Rams. Tailback, Maurice Lewis.
Remember we talked earlier about Elizabeth City had to be a sure tackling football team. Right now you're beginning to see the offensive line win the battles for Winston-Salem State, and those running backs are bouncing off tackles. And if you allow those running backs at Winston to bounce, they'll beat you every time. Draw.
Smith will hand it off again, and plenty of running room. Inside the 20. That's Bryce Sherman.
Draw play, Bryce Sherman, another one of those speedy backs for Winston-Salem State. The offensive line of Winston averages about 325 pounds a ball game. Sherman bursts through the hole, protects the football, picks up about 20 yards, and away they go.
Ball placed on the 19. 9:45 to play, second quarter. Rams trailing 9-7. Smith on a rollout, under pressure again, and he'll go down. That defense for Elizabeth City State continues to come up and put pressure on the Rams offense.
Can't remember a game where Winston-Salem has had so much pressure containing the outside backers and the defensive end. Reggie Nifo, 19, comes in as a part of the play along with big number 99, does a good job, Devin Price. And these guys have got to continue to find a way to first put some pressure on Cameron Smith, which is one of the goals of the team, but also be able to be steady tacklers in the open field. That time they were able to be successful.
Puts the ball on the 24 and a 2nd and 15. Smith will hand it off and nowhere to go. Julius Williams, how about you coming up and making the stop? And 3rd and long now for Winston-Salem.
Faced with yet another big 3rd down situation, and Julius Williams has been a guy this season that's come up and made some big hits from his Mike linebacker spot. A solid tackle there.
Empty backfield now for Cameron Smith on a 3rd and 17. Ball placed on the 26.
Winston-Salem State, 2 out of 5, Scott, in 3rd downs. And remember what we said, 2 of those have been because of penalty situations.
Smith taking a lot of time. The play clock at 2 and now at 1, and he didn't get it off. Some confusion on the Winston-Salem State sidelines, or did they get a timeout? Connell Maynard got the timeout. And we'll talk about this 3rd and long here at the 26. And if you're Connell Maynard in that huddle right now and you think about this passing attack for Winston-Salem State, which has just been so prolific throughout the season, outside of that 1 touchdown pass to Williams, they've had hard going. 5 sacks for 36 yards already for Elizabeth City State. They've just found a way to get into the backfield and make Smith almost uncomfortable. I haven't seen him uncomfortable.
This is a team in both Elizabeth City that loves to put pressure on their quarterbacks. These are some of the best teams as far as sacks in the season. Winston-Salem State only allowed 19 sacks. You're talking about 5 so far. We haven't played a half of football. That just lets you know how good a job Elizabeth City's done. 19 sacks they allowed. This offensive line, and we talked about many of these guys being 1st or 2nd team all-conference. Hartung, an all-conference performer, goes about 380. Marcus Lawrence, the center, number 52, is the anchor of this team. But so far, they've had a hard time corralling the pressure. Screen.
Smith will drop it off to Massey. Massey cuts back. 1 man to beat. Touchdown, Winston-Salem State. It was a 3rd and 17 from the 26, and Massey took it 26.
We talked about it, the pressure upfield, and just very under control. Cameron Smith just flips it to the inside guy, Jamez Massey, and if he catches the ball with a couple of steps on you, you can go ahead and give him 6.
Five plays, 49 yards, and a 26-yard touchdown by Massey. The PAT is good. So Winston-Salem State, back-to-back touchdowns. They've taken the lead, 14-9 our score here in Durham.
8:02 remains.
It's Nissan season to save. Get in today for unforgettable deals. Up to $2,000 bonus cash on top of existing offers on select Nissan models. right now. Save up to $4,000 on road. Shop at ChooseNissan.com or your local Nissan dealer. Hurry! Up to $2,000 bonus cash ends November 12th.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 1-800-553-9611. That's 1-800-553-9611.
Well, the Winston-Salem State offense answers in a big way here.
Cameron Smith throws his 39th touchdown of the season. Just a little quick inside play. Nothing really fancy to it, but you're depending on the rush ends, the push-up feel of the defensive side of Elizabeth City and the speed of Smith to get the ball out to that guy Massey, and he'll do the rest, and certainly he did. And Massey just has an outstanding season. You see that, 49 yards, it doesn't take long. The momentum seems like it's changed, and now I think Elizabeth City's got to just say, okay, hey, here we go. It was nice early. We put pressure on Smith, but yet they're ahead. Now their offense has got to, absolutely has to make some first downs, move the chains, and get McNeil involved in this game.
Thayer drives it deep to about the goal line where it's picked up by Standback. Standback met hard inside the 20, and the Rams seizing momentum more and more as the second quarter moves forward. A host of Rams were there. Jerron Jamerson, one of them. And big old number 99 there as well. Pegues.
Offensive coordinator for Winston-Salem State, Alvin Parker, veteran coach. And right now, he's got to get the mojo back. They got to go with what they were telling me the other day about DDK, down, and kick. they got to get some guys blocking down, and kicking out, and finding some holes for McNeil. Important series right now if you expect to stay in this game, I think.
Jones, the senior quarterback, will come out firing on first down, and the ball pops out free. Wesson was unable to hold on to it.
Last season in the championship game, Winston-Salem's wide receivers they had a nice game, but not a great game. Several catches that they dropped, plays left on the field. We've seen a couple of plays so far in there where they're not connecting. Again, I think you've got to keep Winston-Salem State honest. Nice throw. Another catch that should have been received and taken down, that time by Darius Wesson.
Jones will go to the air again on the quick out. This one caught but out of bounds. The rule was Keith Strickland.
And I'm not sure where they're marking this ball. He may be just short of a first down by about a yard. A nice little outright by Strickland. So here we go, third down and about 1 yard. So you think they're going to get this ball to McNeil?
He's standing back there, hasn't touched it in a while. We'll see. Ball spotted on the 24. McNeil will get it. Goes over the strong edge, and looks like it should be enough for a first down. And it is. Scott McNeil's just had an unbelievable career at Elizabeth City State. Chances are, if there's a record and it involves rushing at Elizabeth City, the name McNeil's next to it.
Last year was the CIAA Offensive Player of the Year. Has rushed for over 4,000 yards in his career.
Ball completed out in the flat. Again, a big pickup through the air for Elizabeth City State.
I like what they're doing. They're trying to take the little short routes out. A good strong arm by Naaman Jones and Gary Langston, who told me, he said, hey, I'm going to have a big game today. I'm coming to play. He's locked in man coverage. Again, this is just a little one-on-one battle. Quick drop Throw to the ball the outside. Langston does a great job of coming back and catching the football, brought down by Darrell Pulliam.
Yeah, did a good job holding off Pulliam, keeping his position for that catch. Here's Jones again to the air. And just out of the backfield, he's got Riddick close to the first down. 6:47 to play, second quarter. If you're just joining us, Elizabeth City State got out to a 9-0 lead in the first quarter. Rams came back and answered with 14 straight. Just shy of the first down marker, so it will bring up third down. And that should be enough for a first as McNeil takes it over the edge. And again, Elizabeth City State wants this pace. They want to maintain possession of the football and keep Winston-Salem State, that vaunted offense, over there on the sidelines. So first and 10 now from the 39. Under 6.5 to play here in the first half. This is Jones again. He'll go up top. Ball underthrown and nearly picked off by Winston-Salem State.
Finally, a little pressure, a little deeper drop this time by Jones. Underthrown just a little bit. Take a look at the end of the play. Dominique Tate has it and then lets it go when he falls down. But again, that's good coverage to the outside. Tate looks like he may be shaken up a little bit. Both of these teams very, very proud. A great history at Elizabeth City. We talked to Jethro Pugh early in this year. Alvin Walton, longtime quarterback. The great job that Waverly Tiller has done over the past 10 seasons at Elizabeth City. So there's great history. We know about the history of Winston-Salem playing for their 10th CIAA championship today.
Second and 10, quick hitter, and moving it out close to the 50-yard line. Will bring up third down now for the Vikings.
I like the fact that in the open field that Alvin Parker is showing enough confidence to try to get Naaman Jones some rhythm, get the ball to these wide receivers. Again, you know, Keith Strickland. You see the top of the screen, a little slant. If you can pick up 7 or 8 yards on second down, it makes these third down calls so much easier. Elizabeth City tends to run over the right side of their offensive line, which is number 55, Fatal, and number 77, Maine. Fatal goes about 285, Maine goes about 365, 370, just short.
Yeah, Strickland just short of that first down marker. I love the way he kept those legs driving. He's a junior from Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Winston, 2 out of 4 on third down, and this is 4 down territory. I think if you don't get it on first down, on third down, then definitely try to get that first on fourth. But what you can't do if it's just a pass attempt, and I tend to think Waverly Tiller, that guy, is going to keep this ball on the ground. You can't afford to take big losses.
Well, two-time CIAA Coach of the Year, Waverly Tiller in his 10th season, trying to bring a championship.
The last 6 seasons at Elizabeth City, Tiller's won 9 games, 5 games, 7 again, 6, 8, 7 this year. Been to 4 CIAA championships. Second winningest coach all time in Elizabeth City history.
So third down and called about a half a yard here, near midfield for the Vikings. And I'm not so sure if McNeil got it. Winston-Salem State closed the hole up strong. They'll say he's got enough.
All he needed was about the length of a football or less. So, again, going behind Vital, David Gatlin, number 60, the center.
5:38 to play. Again to the air. That ball looked like it might have been deflected, and it'll fall short and incomplete for Naaman Jones.
Well, Naaman Jones got off to a rocky start. His first start 2 seasons ago as a sophomore was a nationally televised game up at Virginia State. Did not have a good night passing. Last year he was the backup quarterback, and in this season has come in and really taken the reins of the football team, throwing for almost 2,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, and he manages the game very well.
Second and 10 to the air again for Jones, but the pocket closes up and he'll go down.
Justin Wilkerson closing the gap there. You've got to get rid of the football against this front four of Winston-Salem State. 1,001, 1,002, got to get rid of it. Good job there. Initially, I think it was Wilkerson at the top and maybe Casey Davenport at the bottom to bring him down.
Brings up 3rd and 12. Ball placed on the 47. Under 5 to play, second quarter. Jones airs it out quickly, almost picked off. Boy, Carlos Fields came up in a hurry. He had it read and just couldn't bring it. You see him tapping him on the jersey. I should have taken that one.
If you're Naaman Jones, you can't be impatient. I know there's pressure, but you've got to be smart where you throw the football. Plenty of time. Locks in on one receiver, that being Langston, and very nearly an interception by Carlos Fields, the defensive player of the year.
Well, Fields had it read, just couldn't complete the play, but it'll bring up a punting situation for Elizabeth City State. High kick, fall inside the 20, and Jamez Massey will wisely just let it bounce and go out of bounds. So Winston-Salem State bring their offense back on the field. They've scored on their last 2 possessions to take the lead here at 14-9, 4:38 to play here in the second quarter. So glad you're with us here on Championship Saturday here in Durham. We talked about this Winston-Salem State offense. It's very much a rhythm offense that Connell Maynard's got it. They score 1 touchdown, they're going to score another touchdown. Cameron Smith gets in that rhythm, and he is tough to beat. So the ball on about the 15. They'll go to the ground as spinning across the line is Maurice Lewis.
Number 3, Lewis. On the
Mr. Salem. You see, you mentioned earlier that the offensive line and the defense and everybody they're very under control. Nobody losing any emotion, down 9-0. Now all the coaches have gotten their team together. They're sitting there back talking, and they feel like, okay, we're rolling now.
Called a 2nd and 5, and again they'll hand it off to Lewis. For a guy who hasn't played in a while, Lewis has looked very fresh, which he is, and has looked very sharp also here.
Well, he had an arm injury, and also I think a little bum knee early in the year. And so Connell Maynard has kind of gone on this side of precaution and felt like this has helped develop, some of the other running backs for this Winston-Salem State team. And we've seen Tupu, we've seen, Brandon McDonald, we've seen DeGear a couple of times, and also Bryce Sherman and Leak. So what it's done when your horse has been out, some of the other ponies get a chance to run. Winston-Salem State's run 35 plays in this football game, and you didn't wonder if Elizabeth City's getting a little fatigued out there.
Lewis will have it again, and he's met just inside the 30. Bring up 2nd down.
Watch this at the top of your screen. Just a nice solid hit this time. Michael Williams. Bam.
Give him 3 on the carry. And I'll bring up 2nd down at the 30 as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the second quarter. 14-9, Rams lead it. Again, they'll go to the ground, and again, another pickup across the 40. That's Bryce Sherman over the left side.
Number 9.
Connell Maynard keeps bringing in running back after running back after running back. What you like about Connell Maynard is he's just an inventive play caller. You kind of look like you're going stretch, and it's a little dive inside, but you've got speed with your running backs. A lot of these guys are guys that were stars at other places, may have transferred, or high school big-time players. A nice, huge run by Bryce Sherman.
So 1st and 10 now from the 42. Smith under pressure again. He'll try to get out. He does across the 45, and there he is met hard by Nigel Rios.
Never forget that Cameron Smith transferred to Winston-Salem State from the Naval Academy. What do they do at the Naval Academy? They run the football. So they take away nothing deep, not going to force anything, and a solid tackle. Yeah, I guess Rios is okay.
Yeah, he looks like it, doesn't he? Pickup of 3 for Smith. Ball's at the 45 now. Play clock under 2 minutes now. Smith will keep it on the ground and nowhere to go that time.
It would be very huge for Elizabeth City if they could keep Winston-Salem State out of the end zone. That decision by Waverly Tiller to defer to the second half, if they could keep them out, maybe give them the momentum going into this third quarter that they would need to maybe try to get on the scoreboard. Not to say that if Elizabeth City doesn't allow them in the zone, that it would take them out of the game, but certainly it would be a very uphill battle being behind 2 touchdowns against this potent Winston-Salem State offense.
Smith will go to the shot clock. Under 1:30 to play here in the second quarter, and the Rams don't appear to be in any hurry right now at their own 45. Smith will call for it, and he'll keep it on the draw. Nowhere to go up the middle, and again he was squashed. And coming up, his new best friend, number 42, Brad Davis.
How many times a day have we called the name of Brad Davis? Winston-Salem State with 191 yards of total offense. But I'll tell you what, a lot of those plays they have really had to work hard for. And this guy, if you're looking for an MVP of the football game, right now it had to be Brad Davis.
He has been big time since the opening kickoff. And that'll bring up 4th and 8 from their own 45. And Winston-Salem State, with 52 seconds left, is going to bring the punting team on the field.
Something they don't do a lot. Landon Thayer, we call him the loneliest man in college football. Doesn't get to kick much, less than 40 punts all season long.
Thayer will stand at about his 30 to receive the snap, and back on the other end it's Antonio Huff. They'll let the clock go down. Thayer gets it away. Booming kick and a fair catch. Arnold, ball's loose on the field. Who got it? Recovered by Winston-Salem State. "19 seconds left, second quarter. Antonio Huff can't field the punt, and a costly turnover here before the end of the half.
This is a very bright sunshine. Huff just misplays it. Got to stay away from those footballs. You got to stay away from that inside your 20-yard line, and that's Johnny on the spot. You need to play somebody makes it. James Hickman gets the fumble recovery. 19 seconds, plenty of time for Winston-Salem State to change the dynamics of this game.
Boy, if you are Elizabeth City State, got to be shaking your head right now. 19.7 left here in the second quarter. Smith comes back under center. Flags down, and looks like it's going to be a false start here against Winston-Salem. Get a look at the referee, Eric Green, as he's talking towards the Winston-Salem State sideline, and the referees will confer here.
See, when you think about making plays, the one thing that Elizabeth City's not done a good job of this year is holding the football.
The clock was stopped before the snap. Was a change of possession. Please change the game clock to 19.6 seconds.
Game and play clock, especially play clock, wasn't set before Winston-Salem was able to get that. I tell you, they didn't waste a lot of time getting to play. See, they're going to wave this flag off or not.
We didn't have a false start.
Okay.
5-yard penalty on the offense.
So Connell Maynard, the head coach of Winston-Salem State, he's looking, he's like, oh, I want some more time, and now you're going to give me a penalty too?
Put 19.6.
So give him some time, make it 19 and some change.
See, what Connell Maynard is asking, what Waverly Tiller is not a 10-second runoff for the penalty. So they're trying to get this right. So they're going to put 19.6, penalize Winston-Salem State 5 yards. Now the clock's got 18.5 on it, so we'll let them figure this out.
So 14-9, Winston-Salem State leads. Elizabeth City State scored first on a field goal. Then they had a defensive sack, recovered the fumble for a touchdown, led it 9-0 after missing the PAT. Moved into the second quarter with the Rams scoring 2 touchdowns through the air, one to Williams and one to Massey. And that's where we are now here at 14-9 off the fumble punt return by Elizabeth City State. Finally, I think we've got the clock worked out where it needs to be. And we'll go with 19.5 and a 1st and 10 from about Smith's going to keep it. He'll just shovel it out here to Lewis. Lewis nowhere to go. Rios among others there to bring him down. Timeout by Winston-Salem State. That will be their final timeout of the half.
Kevin Smith looks. He just flips it out to Lewis. Good job. You see Rios there at the end of the play trying to strip the football away. Rios helped out by William Davis.
Well, you got 11 seconds left here, no timeouts, but there's time for at least one more play here for Winston-Salem State.
Yeah,
it's got to go to the end zone.
Yeah.
You know, got to go to the sidelines, I'm guessing.
I think if you're Winston-Salem, the one thing you cannot do is take a sack, and I think that's one of the emphasis Connell made of saying you get your kick team ready to go. Throw this ball to the outside, deep in the end zone. Let one of your wide receivers run on it. Should have about 4 or 5 seconds left for a field goal attempt.
Today's CIAA game is fueled by the Toyota Green Initiative. Toyota, proud sponsor of the CIAA.
So 11 seconds left as the Rams offense comes back on the field. Cameron Smith. And in the back
wide to the top, slot receiver. Keep your eye on his Tevin Brantley. Inside is Williams.
And another whistle, and it looks like they're going to get a timeout up at the Elizabeth City State sidelines. It's their second charge timeout, and a 30-second timeout is Waverly Tiller saying, okay, hold on, let me see what you guys are doing and let me match up with it.
And don't forget to purchase championship merchandise today from DJ Sportswear, located on...
Well, this Elizabeth City State Viking defense has certainly answered the challenge here in the first half. Come up with some big plays, and they've found their way into the backfield on numerous occasions, led by Brad Davis, who's really been strong and had those Rams fans that are up cheering right now, had them sitting down a little bit in the first quarter. Winston-Salem State has come back, lead it here 14-9. Hope you'll stick around with us here at halftime. Got a number of special guests from around the league and some of our proud sponsors.
They lit formation. Winston-Salem State went with 3 wides to the right, but they head to the inside on the closest throw is Juwan Butler. He was in situation. They had an extra wide receiver, so they went 5 wides, and they alertly sought Elizabeth City. Same formation now.
Smith's got it. Taking a lot of time, and he goes down. That's a sack. Elizabeth City State got there again with their defense.
Reggie Nifo does a great job, but so do the defensive backs. They went to the nickel package. Nowhere for Smith to throw the football. Nifo rushes in, brings him down. And we got ourselves a ball game, 14-9 at the half.
14-9 here at the break. Winston-Salem State had to come from behind, trailing 9-0 early. Halftime is coming up next.
If defense...
Durham Memorial Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Winston-Salem State. Out in front of Elizabeth City State, 14-9. The Rams, the number 2 team in the country, had to come from behind here at the break. As Elizabeth City State got out to the 9-0 early in the first quarter, the Rams answer with 14 points in the second quarter to take the lead. As you take a look at halftime at the Red Sea of Sound out on the field, and there's been a perfect day for football, and the crowds had a great time before the game. They're having a great time here during the game as well. Scott Przwanski, Stan Luter back with you here at the break at our Toyota halftime report. A first half full of action defensively and offensively. Let's take a look at some of those halftime highlights.
Scott, early and often there's been pressure on Cameron Smith. Brad Davis, one of his 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 sacks. That was the safety. They called the sack. They got the fumble. Davis comes in again and makes a play. Yeah, he's power happy. But I'm daunted by this. Cameron Smith finds Jamal Williams a 10-yard slant pass. Underneath passes have been successful for Elizabeth City. Riddick that time on the catch. Winston-Salem State just to drop over the top. Cameron Smith being very efficient. 8 out of 10, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. That pass, that time to Massey for 26 yards just before the half. Another little play to Strickland here. But Elizabeth City's going to have to create some plays and get some momentum as they go into the second half.
Yeah, and you look at these Toyota first half stats, and keep in mind, for Elizabeth City State, they haven't been able to put points on the board in the end zone with their offense. You can see just 27 yards rushing for Elizabeth City State. Keep in mind what a running back they have in Durante McNeil. He averages over 100 a game. Rushing yards just 27 for the Vikings. They're going to have to get something going on the ground. I think McNeil, obviously in particular, if they're going to be able to score points here in the second half. Offensively for Winston-Salem State, they settled down in the second quarter. Sure, they did. First downs, they've got 11-7 for Elizabeth City State. And time of possession, boy, that's played a big role here. Over 20-plus minutes for the Rams offensively. So 14-9 our score here at the break. Elizabeth City State will have the ball to start the third quarter. And as you know, if you've ever been to the CIAA Championship game, it is a good time outside the field and inside. Our McDonald's fan of the game, and we've got a couple of them. Had a chance to walk around the stadium before the start of the game, and got to be honest with you, Stan, all this food going around, I was thinking I might want to stay out there, you know?
Man, nobody brings it like CIAA fans, especially at the CIAA Championship game. McDonald's, hey, I'm telling you what, I love it. But I'm telling you what,
they may have some new menu items there, you know?
Stuff going on out here today. I mean, look at it, and they're excited. Here's what you like about it. Nothing better, you heard me say it all the time, food, fun, and football, and what an outstanding day. Our sponsors have talked about it. You know, Eric Watson said he's going to take the credit for it. Jim Colan took the credit for it, but the commissioner's really the reason everybody's smiling. But hey, thank you, McDonald's. Thank you to Viking Pride, to the Rams. Everybody's come out, support the CIAA Football Championship, and most importantly, people continue to follow the CIAA. The Tailgater Award winner, hey, he says, look here, I got the barbecue, I got the sausage. My goodness, and as soon as the ball game is over and we present the championship trophy to somebody, I'm going right out there to the tailgate area. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Thank you for the fan of the game, but that's some sweet food out there. I'm going out there hanging out with all my friends.
I'll tell you what, I will follow you right out the door too, big fella. Our McDonald's fans of the game here, tailgating CIAA style here at Durham, North Carolina at the Durham County Stadium. Again, that'll do it for our Toyota halftime report. At the break, Winston-Salem State out in front of Elizabeth City State. Their score 14-9, and the Rams, the number 2 ranked team in the country, trying to remain undefeated and move on to the playoffs here in the coming weeks with a hot steam of smoke right behind them. On the flip side for Elizabeth City State, head coach Waverly Tiller in his 10th year trying to pull the upset. See if he can't bring a championship trophy back home to the good folks in Elizabeth City. So 14-9 is our score here at the break in Durham, and as we look towards the second half, you have to get an idea if you're Winston-Salem State. You have to feel like our offense is beginning to get in a rhythm. Get in a rhythm with Cameron Smith at the quarterback slot. We'll see if maybe he opens it up a little bit more in the second half. Really went to the ground game in the first half to the Rams as they picked up 126 yards on the ground. And through the air, Smith only able to convert for 68 yards. He was 8 of 10, but 2 touchdown passes will go to his name as well. So 14-9 our score, and for the Rams here now, they're going to kick the ball off, and this is what Elizabeth City State wanted. They deferred the coin toss after they won it so they could have the ball to start the second half. And after they got a stop, they fumbled that punt, remember, towards the end of the half. Winston-Salem State unable to score after they recovered that fumble inside the 10-yard line. So the defense held, and now the offense is going to get the ball to start the third quarter.
Think about the explosiveness of Winston-Salem State. 146 points they've scored in the second quarter alone. They only scored 14, so that's a plus for Elizabeth City. But you mentioned about McNeil. They've only run 25 plays, so haven't really had a chance to get the ball in his hands. First possession here, so important.
Elizabeth City State will bring it out across the 20, and that's where they'll start things off. William Elligor will begin things, and trotting on the field for Elizabeth City State. Naaman Jones had the ball in his hands quite a bit in terms of passing the football, maybe a little bit more than we thought. 7 of 14, 71 yards in the first half. We'll see if we don't get a steady dose of number 8, Durante McNeil.
They got to hurry. Only 8 seconds on the play clock.
McNeil in the backfield. Play clock's at 5, and quickly hand it off to McNeil. He'll go over the far side and nowhere to go, and he'll bring up 2nd and long.
Sometimes you overthink your plays, and you've got to get the team out, give them a little energy rush. You hurry to the line of scrimmage, you run the play on first down deep in your own territory. You only pick up maybe a yard, maybe a yard and a half. So now your second down play call has got to be maximized.
Just underway here to start of the third quarter. We'll go to the air again, and the reception just at about the 35. It'll be close to the first down marker.
Good catch that time, the outright. We've seen a strong arm out of Naaman Jones, and one of the things that Waverly Tillers talked about is that he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Got away with one over the middle one time. That was a nice, strong throw to Darius Wesson. Marked him about a yard short.
And it'll bring up a 3rd and
power
short.
Right side.
Neal's got it. He'll go over that side. And it will depend on the spot, and it will be a first down for Durante McNeil.
You're only going to be able to run McNeil a lot if you're in short yard situations. If you're in 3rd down and 9s and 10s, it's going to be very hard to use McNeil, and you've got to be able to grind some yards out of every time he carries the football.
This is Petey Boone who checked in. He'll go over the left side, tries to turn the corner, and will pick up a couple as the Winston-Salem State defense was there waiting for him.
See, that's a nice play. You get to the outside, you see if you can break a tackle, you use Petey Boone's speed. Make that a second down and about 7 or so, but at least now you're making fields and those guys cover the entire length of the field and not just concentrate inside the box.
Quick hitter and pickup of a couple for Keith Strickland. So Strickland hauls in a short one. Just underway here in the third quarter, opening possession.
Elizabeth City was 3 out of 6 on 3rd down conversion, Scott.
And the ball underthrown. Strickland wanted an interference call. He's not going to get it as Curtis McGill was there.
It was out of bounds.
It'll be punting for the Vikings. And I think that's exactly what the Elizabeth City State coaches are talking to the wide receiver about there on the sidelines. So back deep for Winston-Salem State. Jamez Massey. He'll stand at about his 25-yard line, and it's a fake, or is it? He'll keep it around the end. First down, Elizabeth City State. He'll go more. How about that play? Atiba Jackson. Will stand. Not sure if he meant to do it, but we'll take it if you're the Vikings.
Connell Maynard talked about, I got to be prepared for everything. They may have gone and slip and switch, but this looks like, okay, it's a read. The rush comes very fast, and he just elects to go. Does he step out of bounds there? Not quite sure if he does or not. He continues to run, but you're looking for a play to get you some momentum. Curtis McGill had to rush on, had to block. Jackson elects to keep it. 38-yard play. In Elizabeth City, you need something to kind of give you some injection. Get excited. That might have been the play.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Jackson wasn't going to try to punt it rugby style and saw some space and kept it going. So the offense will try to keep it going. And nowhere to go, though, for McNeil over the left side. Big sea of red there to greet the all-conference running back.
Elizabeth City very lucky to get Victor Tabb off the field before they snap that football. But you got to think, if you're Elizabeth City, you got to play you need it. Now, extend the defense. You're starting to see Winston Salem creep more and more of those cornerbacks on the line of scrimmage. And again, we haven't really talked a lot about Carlos Fields, Kendra Reed, Daniel Mungan making plays, but they're certainly lurking. Number 44, the Mike backer, Carlos Fields. Timeout, Elizabeth City, I think.
Timeout.
Yep.
Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings will get a timeout. So 14-9, our score here in the third. Vikings are driving, though. Back with more after these words from your local CIAA stations.
Superior customer service is our business. A local mortgage lender with offices throughout the Mid-Atlantic. Streamlined, smooth, and efficient delivery. A rock-solid foundation built on integrity, strength, and honesty. Academy Mortgage. Rebuilding America, one loan at a time.
Train extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard.
Get 0% APR financing for 36 months, or up to a $1,250 instant rebate when you purchase a qualifying Train heating and cooling system. Visit trainsearch.com to locate a participating independent Train dealer near you and learn more. That's trainsearch.com.
It's hard to stop a train.
Attention, the diabetes drug Actos has been linked to bladder cancer.
If you've taken the diabetes drug Actos and now have bladder cancer, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
If your loved one took this drug and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you or a loved one took Actos and were then diagnosed with bladder cancer,
call the Goldwater Law Firm at 800-351-7900. That's 800-351-7900.
Well, after the fake punt, Elizabeth City State moves inside Winston-Salem State territory. It'll be second down, ball at the 33. Jones will keep it, air it out. Got a man. What a grab! What a grab by Gary Langston.
Scott Naaman Jones was feeling the pressure that time and just throws it up. I actually thought he had overthrown the wide receiver, Gary Langston. Langston just does a great job. Keep an eye on this. Pressure to the inside, gets rid of it, and the diving one-handed catch that time by Gary Langston.
32 yards on the pass completion, and we've got another flag here.
Delay of game on the offense, number 16. 5-yard penalty. Brewer, bring it down.
Boy, that'll just kill you.
And you can't have that. And what Coach Tiller is talking about, how did the clock get set and then go back to the play? The play clock wasn't set. Okay, here we go. Play fake again. Watch this. Nice pass. I thought that was overthrown, but look at Langston. And they marked him short of the goal line, right at the 1-yard line. But then again, Elizabeth City goes backwards.
Penalty will push him back. Give it to McNeil. Try to cut back. Goes down hard. Again, that defense pushing up for Winston-Salem State. Casey Davenport there also.
Yeah, Malcolm Rowe, Casey Davenport. They're saying let the big dogs eat. Rowe, an all-conference performer once again in the CIAA, comes up and lays a hit. Keeps up and comes in and makes the play. Right there, bam, he lowers it. 4 red shirts around the play.
Second down for Elizabeth City State. Jones is in trouble. He'll go down just outside the 5. Again, the heat coming from all directions, that time defensively for Winston-Salem State.
Naaman Jones does a good job not throwing the football into coverage. But again, this is when Winston-Salem State is their toughest, when they're protecting their turf. They're one of the best teams in the country in red zone defense. They only allowed 12 touchdowns, Scott, all season long. Elizabeth City, one of the leaders in the CIAA, scored 22. Nowhere to go. Protect the football, gets down. Steele goes to go. Ball on the 6.
Ball on the 6, third down. 10:15 to play, third quarter. Go to the air again. Did he bring it down? Touchdown, Vikings.
Wow.
Anthony Jones, what a catch.
Scott, watch this.
After the with unsportsmanlike conduct, number 15 on the offense. The penalty.
See, they get the touchdown. What a great play and great catch by Anthony Jones. And afterwards, there's a little bit of a celebration. I'd be excited too. Fisher's kind of, got to be a little lenient on championship day. I understand the rule, but a huge catch. That goes into the highlight package.
PAT is up, and it is good. 12 plays, 78 yards, and a highlight reel catch by Anthony Jones. And Elizabeth City State's out in front.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Scott, watch a spectacular catch brought to you by Toyota. Thank you, Toyota. You couldn't have come in at a better time. What a great catch by the wide receiver from Tallahassee, Florida. Anthony Jones goes up and makes the biggest catch of his career right there. And the Vikings of Elizabeth City take the lead again.
So the Vikings answer and lead it 16-14. Ball will bounce into the hands of Massey. He's dangerous with it, and he's got a seam. He'll go to the outside. Massey turns the corner. Massey cut down just outside the 40-yard line in good position for the number 2 ranked team in the country as they come out in the field.
And just when you thought you could get excited about it if you're an Elizabeth City fan, the kick a little short, a high bounce, and it gives the special teams time enough to get a block. And you've got so much speed in Jamez Massey. You go 15 yards before anybody ever touches him. And just the speed to the outside. Just touched at the shoelace, but a great field position plus yardage for Winston-Salem State. It doesn't take them long.
Yeah, Justin Beatty may have saved a touchdown there as he lunged forward. Good hustle to grab the ankles and prevent more yards down the field. And the opening play, staying on his feet. What a run here by Winston-Salem. Finally knocked out at about the 15-yard line.
You can't give up on a play, Scott. Lewis doesn't go down. Watch the balance of Maurice Lewis here. Good job at the point of attack. You think you've got him down. His knee never touches the ground, and the Elizabeth City players give up on the play, stop playing. Lewis continues to go. And again, a play later, and you're in good play.
Marlise Lewis, you said it, Stan, kept those feet moving, had his hand down, kept his balance, was able to pick up big yardage, and we've got another injured player on the field.
I think that's Michael Williams. He's had a very nice game today at his linebacker spot. It may be, you hate to sit here, up here in conjecture, oh, it might be this, it might be that, but the way he grabbed his leg before the play started to go down, so you're thinking it's a possibility of a cramp. I mean, it's that very warm November afternoon. The last couple of years, CIAA Championship have had some really good weather, but I don't think we've had a better day or a better well-attended CIAA Football Championship than we've had here today.
Yeah, great crowd here today. And Michael Williams came in 66 tackles. We'll see if we can figure out what happened here.
Lewis never touches the ground. And there's just a little bit of let up thinking he's down. And he turns that into a big positive play for Winston-Salem. And quickly on the kick return and one play, the momentum and the field is swung back to the way of the Rams of Winston-Salem.
And you've got to look at Michael Williams, very stiff walking off the field. We'll hope it's nothing serious as far as the injury goes. So the Rams back at offense. They'll stay on the ground, push it out to about the 10-yard line. It's Daquan Cook. Anthony Carruthers in the game at quarterback. Winston-Salem State.
Grambling. got a very strong arm, good solid athlete. He's thrown a couple of touchdowns this season. So not sure if Cameron Smith went down with any injury or just Connell Maynard just decided to make a substitution.
So it's Carruthers under center. Hands it off again and nowhere to go this time for Leak. And defensively for Elizabeth City, it was Orlando Barrow, 6'3" junior from Chesapeake, Virginia, stepping up to clog that hole. Third quarter, under 9 minutes to play. Championship Saturday here in Durham. So glad you're with us.
I'm looking on the sideline to see if I see Cameron Smith. Don't see him. We'll have to kind of see if we can find out some information on this third down.
3rd and 6, they'll stay on the ground, and they will not get the first down. Elizabeth City State comes up hard. Julius Williams was there to make the stop.
Getting an indication that Smith has an injury, did not release the details, but said not certain to return, doubtful to return. If Cameron Smith doesn't come back, can the Winston-Salem offense go? Yes, because Carruthers is a very solid offense. But the dimension possibility of
number 82 on the offense, 20 on the defense. Those pitches all set. The down counts. Down.
Offsetting penalties on both guys, and now this is that point in time where you've got to kind of control your emotions. Suarez will come in and attempt a field goal. Let's see if we can see. We'll talk at the end. These guys are playing for rings, championships. Elizabeth City, possible playoff bid. Winston-Salem, you kind of think they're going to get in regardless of what happens today.
So Alejandro Suarez from 29 yards out. Good spot, good hold, but he missed it, and it's no good. So the Vikings defense holds off the missed field goal by Suarez.
You know, I told you that Winston-Salem only one time this year had not scored in the first quarter. You get a look at Connell Maynard. They haven't had any close football games either. So now you get a chance to find out a little bit about their wear. How do they play games? In that one game that they didn't score in the first quarter, they ended up putting 35 on the board and winning 35-7. But this is the first time that they've really been tested this year. They've won their games by 5 early in the season, 8, 34, 29, 32, 58, and 36 points.
Jones has got a man. It's open. It's Strickland. Strickland to the 30. Cuts back to the 20. Strickland around the corner. Brought down at about the 5-yard line. Great call. Great execution. Keith Strickland. 75 yards on the completion to Keith Strickland.
Keith Strickland locked in man coverage. We said, what are you going to do on first down? Perfect pass. Naaman Jones floats it, locked in. A great job here by Darrell Pulliam of trying to stop it. Look at that move right there by Strickland. 75 yards. Elizabeth City inside the 5-yard line. What a huge play.
Vikings will go to the ground. It's McNeil around the edge, and he's brought down. Might have picked up one. Second down for the Vikings here in the red zone.
And if you're Elizabeth City, you've got to maintain poise right now, and pace and tempo. You can't lose your control. Winston-Salem State getting hit in the mouth for the first time really all season late in the football game. We're going to find out a lot about both teams in this final 7 minutes and then 15 more.
Put the ball on the 4. Elizabeth City State looking for more points. They'll give it to McNeil, brought down on the backside.
Malcolm Rowe, we talked about Malcolm Rowe. We keep giving you all the superlatives about this kid. He can make some plays from the free safety spot. Keep your eye at the top of the screen. He beats the play, comes in, gets a lot of help from the other side. These two guys, Malcolm Rowe, Dominique Tate, dominating the football game right there on the line of scrimmage.
We'll bring up 3rd down and 6. 3rd and goal.
Play clock down to 12 for Elizabeth City. You got to think of some way to get McNeil to the outside.
They'll keep it, go up top again, and the pass too far. And that'll bring up 4th down. Tried to get Anthony Jones in the corner, and too much heat on that one from Naaman Jones, and that'll bring on the field goal team.
Really think you've got, I don't know how much power you can go on the goal line against Winston Salem. You got to spread them out. Nice try to throw the fade to the corner, a little too high. If you're Winston Salem and you hold him to a field goal, I think that's a victory for you.
So Simmons will come on to attempt the field goal. Spots down, and it is good. So Elizabeth City State puts 3 more on the board, and they continue to lead here in Durham.
All the things you use every day are all opportunities to save money. That's why Food Lion created My Essentials. The items you buy most at our lowest prices with a double your money back guarantee. My Essentials. Look for the sun, see the savings.
CIAA schools have a rich tradition, so Food Lion really looked to us.
I was able to work with Nationwide through the CIAA Career Fair.
I was hired into a retail management trainee program. I was successful in that program, and Food Lion offered me a position as a store manager.
One of their senior recruiters called me. I got hired. Being a student athlete for a CIAA school better prepares us for the workforce.
Playing for a CIAA school brought the best out of us, so it helps me to be a better store manager, be a better leader, and be a better employee.
Next Gear is reinventing the best-selling Camry and making it a 200 horsepower, 43 mpg rated hybrid. Next Gear is the ability to connect to the world with your voice.
Find copy.
Next Gear is taking your smartphone and giving it wheels. Next Gear is the 2012 Toyota Camry Hybrid, which is ahead of everything. The 2012 Toyota Camry Hybrid. It's everything you love, nothing you expect.
19-14 our score, and all eyes will turn to March in Charlotte in the 2013 CIAA Tournament Championship. Get your tickets now.
Yeah, but don't forget about the CIAA Football Championship going on right today, okay? How about that? Last year, Winston-Salem State won baseball, basketball, and football championships.
Driving kick to Sherman, bobbles it, and thought about coming out. He will come out now. Sherman, indecisive, and it hurts.
Two things, Scott. This is a very brilliant, sunshiny day for Saturday in the fall. But secondly, this is probably the only field in the teams in the CIAA play on conference-wise that have soccer markings. And I remember last week in the Shaw game, we thought that there were a couple of guys may have gotten confused with those lines. And I think this is the same thing that happens on this kick return. Should I come out? Should I not come out? You're fighting the football. And the soccer goal line, the goal mouth, is right at the 1 yard line, which is where you would think the end zone is. Then those lines go further, and they you know, really come right across the end zone. It's really kind of, it takes a while to get used to. It's kind of like a basketball court where you've got 2 or 3 different three-point lines on the floor.
So under 6 to play, third quarter, and a 1st and 10. Brothers will come out throwing, got a man, Williams. And Anthony Carruthers, 5'9", 185-pound, redshirt sophomore out of Charlotte. 3 touchdown passes on the season. Came in from Grambling State. Right now, the redshirt sophomore has the ball in his hands.
And he was the guy that actually they thought may have been the starter last year. Really came in and battled Cameron Smith. So again, this is a guy, like I said, played at Grambling for a season under Doug Williams, understands how to quarterback. He's getting his chance today.
Brothers will hand it off to Lewis. Lewis keeps those legs moving out close to the 20.
And what you've got to do if you're Elizabeth City is you can't go to sleep on the long throws and the slants. I don't think Connell Maynor will vary his offense very much, but they're going to get a heavy dose of the run game by Winston-Salem State. You saw right there, nice little pull inside, and they're just going to pound it, pound it, pound it, and throw only when they want. But these wide receivers are very good.
Again, up the middle. Hard-earned yardage on the ground for Maurice Lewis.
Michael Williams, Julius Williams, and Rios, who we talked about, was shaken up. That's a good look at Michael Williams. Had a sack already this season, fumble recovery. Came in with 68 tackles. It's just a beast. He's had 3 games this year where he's had 10 tackles or more. But these guys have done a relatively good job of making solid tackles in the secondary.
Call it 2nd and 9 from the 20. Carruthers goes up top, and a nice defensive play by Josh Brooks. Brooks came over the top, went up high, and knocked that ball down.
They throw this ball into coverage, and Josh Brooks does an excellent job along with William Davis. We talked about it, and kind of putting brackets on Jamez Massey. Brooks does a nice job of deflecting that ball. So here we go, another 3rd down situation.
And another 3rd and long for the Rams inside their own territory.
You got to think quick slant right now to those wide receivers. Brantley's been awful quiet today.
Carruthers under center. He'll drop back and roll out. All kinds of time. Now they'll close in on him. Carruthers around the corner and knocked out of bounds.
Where do they spot this football?
Over there on the Elizabeth City State sidelines. Carruthers quickly hops up, drops back towards his end of the field.
Let's see, Carruthers has a chance, doesn't take it. You think he's going to get to the outside, and see, okay, steps out, and that's a continuation of the play. That's a good no call there.
So Landon Thayer will come back on the field for Winston-Salem State and will punt it away. Standing at about his own 13. Nice booming kick. Missed the punt again. Did he touch it? Will scramble for it inside the 10 and recovered by Winston-Salem State. Antonio Huff for the 2nd time. Can't field the punt. I wasn't sure if he caught it, if he touched it when the ball originally came through. Thought he might have tried to step out of the way.
You got to stay away from that. Doesn't matter if he tried to catch it or not. Today in this ball game, you've given up 30 yards, you let it bounce. That's a big mistake for Elizabeth City and Antonio Huff. Not certain what's going on back there, but you can't be happy about that. And Winston-Salem State takes full advantage of that break. Matthew Browning, I think, is going to be credited with the recovery. Browning on the all-CIAA rookie team.
2nd turnover of the game for Huff, and again inside his own territory. Can the Rams convert this time? Inside the 5 on the pickup. Well, Huff let one get by him at the end of the 2nd quarter. And the Vikings dodged a bullet as the Rams couldn't put any points on the board with time running out. But here it's a different story.
But think back to a moment ago. Elizabeth City looks like they're going to go in for a touchdown. They're not able to get it. They have to settle for a field goal. You got a 4th down situation. You misplay another punt. And Winston-Salem State knocking on touchdown's door.
2nd down from the 4. Carruthers keeps it, fires. Touchdown, Winston-Salem. Ricky Rozier, the junior from Milford, Connecticut. And off the turnover, the Rams are back in front. And what a turn of events here in Durham. Suarez for the PAT. He missed it. He missed it. So the score will stay at 20-19. 2 plays, 9 yards on the touchdown to Ricky Rozier, but it was all set up by this turnover on the punt.
And this is a high, lazy afternoon punt. You see, now, just get away from it. You see, he turned to the side. He shielded. The official says he touched it. See the mark? This is an easy play. You think maybe Duff is about to get the football, but too many red shirts. Another great break, and it doesn't take you very long if you're Winston-Salem State to take it full advantage. But they missed a point after touchdown. In the last couple of games, Suarez has had a couple of problems. Remember, he missed 2 kicks and 1 blocked against Shaw. Play fake, roll out, off balance with a nice easy throw to Rozier. Rozier should be happy. He's wide open. And we're going to see a lot of probably short passes, those little skinny posts. But that was a huge call for Connell Maynard and crew in Winston-Salem State. Close lead. This guy, Waverly Tiller, the only thing in the way of the Waverly Tiller-led Elizabeth City Vikings a championship. They haven't won one since 1971, and that year I don't think there was a championship game. They were just the outright champion. Waverly Tiller's done everything you need to. Only the second winningest coach in all their history, only behind Thomas Caldwell. What a crowning glory it could be for him if they could win this championship game.
So off the turnover, Winston-Salem State back in front. They'll kick it away. Ball bobbled again, and will go down at the 10-yard line. How momentum has shifted towards Winston-Salem. Drakeford brought down at about the 10, and that's where the Vikings will begin this offensive series.
It's amazing how 1 play or 2 plays, another little bobble kick by Drakeford, but it's amazing how a play or 2 can change the whole momentum and the structure of a football game. Elizabeth City goes in for that touchdown. Winston-Salem is in a lot of trouble. A forced punt that you can play, you don't play it. 2 plays later, the Rams have got the momentum, and on that kick now, Elizabeth City faced with a tough task of going almost 85 yards to get in the end zone.
3:18 to play, 3rd quarter. Looked like the pass was deflected, comes up incomplete, and will bring up 2nd down, trying to find Darius Wesson there on the end.
And this is very tough if you're Elizabeth City. I think that ball might have been slightly deflected. Comes out weak, could have maybe been picked off, but now you're in a 2nd down and long situation.
Naaman Jones will hand it off to McNeil, spins away from 1 tackle, gets by the 2nd. And out across the 20. Nice effort there by the all-conference tailback, Durante McNeil.
He really has not had a bad football game. He's just not had an opportunity. Spin, great footwork. That's why they like him at the next level. He's put on a few extra pounds, but again, as we said, over 4,000 yards in his career rushing every Elizabeth City and most of the CIAA rushing records. Durante McNeil holds.
Fields coming up, making the stop, back to the air. Pass complete to Gary Langston. And that will move the chains off the 1st down, and Elizabeth City State through the air. 200 yards passing by Naaman Jones.
Naaman Jones has been very comfortable with the quick drop throw, and his wide receivers have not let him down so far in the 2nd half.
Well, he certainly has rose up to the occasion here this afternoon with the ball in his hands and the way they're throwing the football. McNeil still trying to find some running room and still finding a sea of red as he goes towards the top side of the field. Kendra Reed among others there defensively.
This season, as much as we've talked about the ground game of Elizabeth City, they've actually thrown for over 150 yards 8 times this year now, as opposed to rushing for over 150. They've been stymied in the run game because of this young offensive line.
Another quick hitter. This one's off the mark. As the pass just wide of Langston. So under 2 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And a big 3rd down. The Rams
6 of 11. Elizabeth City. Here we go.
Winston-Salem faithful getting on their feet, trying to implore their defense to get them off the field. On a 3rd and 9, it's Jones, airs it out, caught. Langston, 1st down, Vikings. Boy, Gary Langston has come up big a couple times this afternoon.
Winston-Salem likes to put a little pressure on this time. Give a lot of credit to Wilkins, Gatlin, Vitale, the interior part of that offensive line, for holding up long enough for Naaman Jones to put another bullet out there, and a good catch by Gary Langston. He told me in warm-ups, I'm going to have a good game. Well, Gary, you hadn't let me down.
Well, the Vikings now 7 of 12 on 3rd down. Ball hits the deck, but McNeil will pick it up and bring up 2nd down. 7 of 12 on 3rd down for Elizabeth City State.
And that's part of what they had to do. The remedy for success for them is they had to be able to make 3rd down plays when need be. And again, let's just play. That's a shotgun. Wasn't sure if that might have been a direct snap to McNeil running, but nevertheless, they picked up some yards off that play.
Bring up 2nd down and about 6. Play clock at 10 seconds now. Jones in no hurry. Now he'll accept the football. Jones will air it out over the middle. Langston couldn't bring that one in, a bit behind the junior wide receiver. And we've got another 3rd down opportunity for the Vikings and an injured Ram on the field.
And they elected, that's Donnie Owens, I think, transferred from Coastal Carolina. And you can take a look and see what Naaman Jones was looking at. And they put a little more heat on him inside. This ball, another one, just a little high.
We would like to remind you that you can watch this game later tonight on Mid-Atlantic Sports Network at 11:30.
So another 3rd down opportunity for Elizabeth City State. We told you how well they've been doing, 7 of 12 on the conversions, as the training staff continues to tend to the injured player on the field for Winston-Salem State. And popping up, looks like that young man is okay. And Donnie Owens will hop himself off the field and make his way over to the sidelines.
We talked about the success of Winston-Salem State. Kind of made it 32-3 and in his first 35 ball games. And you take a look at Owens going to the locker room. It's been a very physical football game.
So 3rd and 6. Jones passes quickly, ball deflected, and 4th down now for Elizabeth City State.
Great job by Dominique Tate reading that. They brought a receiver to the inside, brought the back out. McNeil, Tate read that play perfectly, gets a hand on it and deflects it, causes the 4th down.
So the ball on the 43, and it'll bring up a 4th down and 6. And Jamez Massey back at his own 20, who has been real close to breaking a few here today. Won't get an opportunity at this one as it goes out of bounds. And it will be Winston-Salem State ball here to end the 3rd quarter. So the Rams playing without their starting quarterback, who was injured, in Cameron Smith, the offensive player of the year in Smith, guy who passed for better than 2,700 yards and 37 touchdowns this season. But it looks like right now, if Connell Maynor is going to win a 2nd straight CIAA championship, it's going to have to be with Anthony Carruthers guiding the ship. Waverly Tiller looking on, trying to get that elusive CIAA championship. Carruthers will keep it. He's in trouble. Scrambles out. He's got some speed and is knocked out of bounds at about the 33-yard line.
Look at Cameron Smith there. Went to the locker room, put the jacket on. Just said the CIAA Player of the Year this year, all-conference performer last year. 1,500 yards. This is funny. In 14 games last year, he threw for 2,700 yards and 33 touchdowns. In 10.5 games this year, he's thrown for 2,700 plus yards and 39 touchdowns. So you can see he's had a heck of a year. Hopefully he'll be okay. As we get to the 4th quarter, here we go.
4th quarter, and we've got a break in the action, and a good one here in Durham. Winston-Salem State, the #2 ranked team in the country, in a dogfight. Back with more after these words from your local CIAA stations.
CIAA Football is brought to you in part by Toyota, powered by the Toyota Green Initiative. McDonald's, deeply rooted in the community, 365 days a year. Nationwide, Nationwide is on your side. And by Food Lion, brought to you by Food Lion.
Well, if you're Waverly Tiller, head coach of Elizabeth City State, you told them you're going to be down by 1 at the start of the fourth quarter, you might take it. And here we are, 2nd and 7 from the 33. And Lewis breaks free across the 45 for another first down. The Rams have been content to put the ball in Lewis's hands here today. Take a look at our Toyota third quarter stats. And you'll see rushing yards heavily in favor of Winston-Salem State, 180 to 74. Passing through the air has been the way for Elizabeth City State to move the football. We got a 1st and 10 from the 45. And again, the Rams will stay on the ground. And that's Daquan Leak with the big gain. Another injured Ram on the field. And that's Nathaniel Hartung, big junior from Butler, Pennsylvania, transferred from BYU.
Hartung, one of those all-conference offensive linemen for Winston-Salem State. Came here, as you said, from BYU, set out a couple years and went on a Mormon mission. Initially went to Eastern Arizona, and just a huge guy, great kid, 6'2", goes about 380 pounds. A lot of guys landed all on the line today. The 5th or 6th player we've seen helped off the field.
So that's Hartung. 4 offensive linemen, all CIAA credentials for this Winston-Salem State club. 16 players with all CIAA credentials off this year's team. And Anthony Carruthers, the redshirt sophomore quarterback, seeing action here in the second half after the injury to the Offensive Player of the Year, starting quarterback Cameron Smith. And Carruthers has been up to the task here on a 2nd and 4. Handed off again, and that should bring up 3rd down.
You have to wonder when or if Marcus Hilliard, coordinator defensively for Elizabeth City, is going to try to put some pressure, maybe this 3rd down situation, to make Carruthers have to put the ball in the air and make a play right now. But remember, he's an outstanding runner as well.
3rd and 2 from the 47. Quick hitter out. That'll be enough for the 1st down, and struggling for extra yardage is Massey.
See, that's just like a long handoff right there. And with the explosiveness of Massey, you never know he could maybe break that tackle. Watch this quick step up, rise up, get it to him. You get a good block downfield. And Massey's able to pick up 6 or 7 yards, keep a drive going.
Massey's had a good game here today. On his returns, had a touchdown in the first half, picking up that 1st down right there. 1st and 10 from the 40. Rams lead it by 1. Nowhere to go for Carruthers, keeps his balance and keeps the play alive. This is Brantley down the sidelines before he's pushed out of bounds. What a play by Carruthers.
It's so much a game of inches. Carruthers is able to avoid the sack. Remember, he's only about 5'9", 5'10". Avoids the sack, gets under defensive pressure right here. And then watch this. Play fake. So he should go down. He doesn't go down. He's able to get the ball out to Brantley. Brantley makes a positive play. And you got to go back to the punt return by Elizabeth City that they dropped, and you think about the touchdown that they didn't get. And all of a sudden, you give Winston-Salem State a chance to score, and they take full advantage of it.
Ball's on the 16. Carruthers doesn't like what he sees with the play clock going down, and he's going to get a timeout. For a conversation with Connell Maynor. So let's take a timeout with him here. 12:37 to play, and Winston-Salem State is driving. Back with more after these words from your local CIAA stations.
Right now, save big.
First and 10 from the 16. Winston-Salem State driving. They lead by 1, 20-19. Carruthers on the fake handoff. He'll throw it out. This is Butler. Butler to the 5. Butler to the end zone. But there's a penalty on the play.
And I think it's going to be a hold against Winston-Salem.
And this will come back.
Holding being charged to the Rams.
Holding, number 11 on the offense. 10-yard penalty.
So a hold on Jamal Williams, trying to free up his good buddy Butler, and that'll bring it back. 8 penalties now for Winston-Salem State, 72 yards. Take a look again here, see what happened.
Fake. Freezes the linebacker just quick. You get those receivers out in man coverage. Couldn't see Butler that time at the top of the screen. Got to look at that. Excuse Williams, see where the hole was. But you saw great speed by Butler. Wide receiver coach Dwayne Taylor and Jason Mai do a really good job in getting these guys down the field.
Back up the Rams to the 21. Carruthers on a rope. Ball tipped, but right into the hands of Massey for a touchdown. And a flag on the field.
That's going to be unsportsmanlike. We were seeing Carruthers' foot speed gets outside. And watch, this ball is just tipped and right into the waiting hands of yet another Winston-Salem receiver, Jameez Massey.
Number 82 of the offense. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Well, Massey caught that ball, and it looked like he just kind of flipped it right into the hands of the defensive back, Josh Brooks, and that's what caused the penalty there. But nonetheless, the touchdown and the PAT try now here for Thayer. The PAT is up, and this one is good. 8 plays, 70 yards, and the touchdown completion. Winston-Salem State opening up a lead here in Durham.
Superior customer service is our business. A local mortgage lender with offices throughout the Mid-Atlantic. Streamlined, smooth, and efficient delivery. A rock-solid foundation built on integrity, strength, and honesty. Academy Mortgage. Rebuilding America, one loan at a time.
New Pink Lemonade 5-Hour Energy? 5-Hour Energy supports the Avon Foundation for Women Breast Cancer Crusade. So I can get the energized feeling I need and support a great cause? I'm sold.
Pink Lemonade 5-Hour Energy.
Yeah, and a portion of every sale goes to the Avon Foundation for Women Breast Cancer Crusade.
I'm sold.
New Pink Lemonade 5-Hour Energy. Get the alert, energized feeling you need and support breast cancer research and access to care.
Once I got the whites, my finds really started adding up, and that's when I got obsessed. I don't just go out and I read history in a history book. I go out and I find it. But when you go out and find something around historical, really makes my day. Because you wonder who might have held that 100, 200, or possibly 300 years ago.
Your first step toward a lifetime of adventure starts today. Call the number on your screen for your free catalog from White's Electronics. What will you find?
With finds like this, I'll pay for my college education.
Mesothelioma victims and their loved ones may be entitled to a cash award from the $18 billion in asbestos trust funds. Even if a loved one had mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer and has passed, your family may still be entitled to a cash award. Call now to see if you qualify. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos,
call 1-800-948-5177 now.
So Carruthers to Massey has the band playing full throttle here in Durham for Winston-Salem State. The Rams lead at 27-19, 15-yard penalty assessed. 8 plays, 70 yards on the score, so Landon Thayer will kick it off at his 20. Driving kick. This is Drakeford. Drakeford across his 20, now to the 30, and it'll be brought down close to the 35-yard line.
You've had about, I don't know, 4 kicks, 2 punts, I know.
You get
another one where guys for Elizabeth City, and we've seen one from Winston, just continue to bobble. I'm not sure if they're losing the ball in the sun or a little bit of concentration, a little bit of just anxiousness trying to make a play. But again, you know, a deep kick, Landon Thayer, one of the stronger legs in college football, kicks it deep. Coverage team does a very good job keeping them away from the 40-yard line. Plenty of time if you're Elizabeth City, 12-13 to get on the board, but they've got to have very solid offensive execution. And you know that Perez Boulware, who's got a lot of championship rings, having won at Winston-Salem last year, at Shaw as a coordinator, at Livingstone and North Carolina Central, he's going to have something dialed up.
Naaman Jones under center's thrown for over 200 yards here this afternoon and had a man open, but over the outstretched arms of Victor Tabbs, the tight end. Tabbs, a freshman, couldn't quite get there, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
The problem with throwing a lot on 1st down and stretching the defense, you have to do that. Good coverage here by Winston-Salem. Another catch that you just lose, but now your 2nd downs are longer. Winston-Salem's going to try to look, you know, they're taking McNeil out of the ball game, but if you don't complete him, you get the ball back to Winston-Salem. See, now you're in 3rd down, and you haven't been off the field very long, your defense.
Jones a bit high on that toss to Antonio Huff. And the Rams faithful starting to get into it here in Durham now, as it's 3rd and 10.
There are no more loyal fans in CIAA than the Ram fans. They say all day, every day, returning to glory. They're 12 minutes away, and they're sensing it right now that if they can hold Elizabeth City on 4th down, they get the football back. There's no way, no how they're going to get stopped.
Ball on the 36, 3rd and 10 for Naaman Jones. Jones flushed out, pass complete. Looks like it's going to be about a half-yard shy of the 1st down. We'll see on the spot.
But there's a flag down, and it's going to be a hold against Elizabeth City.
It's Anthony Jones who's shaken up.
Nice catch that time by Jones. He walks off there, tries to get off the field. He's going to be about a half-yard short, but nevertheless, Connell Maynard is going to take the field position and push him back.
So the ball will be spotted on the 26. Let's look at Anthony Jones, perhaps with a cramping situation there. But that young man's okay. Nonetheless, we've got a 3rd and long now here for Elizabeth City State, and you bring up a great point here, Stan, is that Elizabeth City State needs to maintain this drive for no other reason than for their defense. Their defense has been on the field quite a bit here in the 2nd half, especially here recently in the 4th quarter.
You got out of the 3rd quarter, Elizabeth City had run 50 plays, a lot of it in that last drive, and Winston-Salem had run 57 plays. But a lot of those plays just fast repetition, and again, Elizabeth City guys were shaken up too. And if you don't get this now, that holding penalty was a costly penalty. Instead of a 4th down and a half-yard, you're now still with a 3rd down and about 20.
Look at our Toyota game summary. Elizabeth City State on the board first. They led it 9-0. Rams came back with 14 points in the 2nd quarter, and here we stand now with the 3rd and long for the Vikings. This is McNeil, and he'll be well shy of the 1st down. And the punting unit on the field now for the Vikings.
Larry Hurd, on the tackle, number 44.
Really a lot you can do if you're Elizabeth City there. You stretch the defense as best you can. You throw underneath McNeil, who's been a very solid receiver this season for Elizabeth City State University with 19 catches.
Elizabeth City State averaging about 35 yards on the punt. Looks like that one was partially blocked. And the Rams will let it roll out of bounds, and it will be great field position here for Winston-Salem. So the momentum really swinging in the favor of the Rams here in the fourth quarter. 10:52 to play. They lead at 27-19, and the #2 ranked team in the country has great field position.
You look at the Winston-Salem State touchdowns. 2-play drive, a 5-play drive, and the first touchdown, a 16-play drive. Winston-Salem's had short fields a couple of times to get in, score. Partially blocked, ball on the 47-yard line, prime position for the Rams of Winston-Salem.
Carruthers under center. He'll drop back. There's a flag on the play. Wants to go down the field to Massey. Massey hauls it in. He'll go in for the score. But remember, there's a flag on the play.
I think this is going to be offsides against Elizabeth City.
Massey down the sidelines. What a game that young man is having for the senior from Monroe, North Carolina.
We have offsides on the defense. That penalty declined by rule. Touchdown.
Here's the offside. That's real easy to call, so you got a free play. Carruthers comes up, just throws the ball in the air. Massey between two defenders. Elizabeth City guys look like they may have given up on the play. Nevertheless, Massey didn't. And you can almost get ready to start saying Winston-Salem State 2012 CIAA champions.
PAT is good, and Winston-Salem State opening things up here in Durham. 33-19. The Rams looking good here in Durham. Well, what a game for that man. Jamez Massey has simply been outstanding here on Saturday. 6 catches, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the senior here today.
That third touchdown he just caught, Scott, just set a new CIAA Football Championship record with 3 touchdown receptions in the championship game. Massey having a super game. And his next reception will pass Torrey Ross, or tie Torrey Ross with 7 catches in the championship game. With the 3, Glenn Thomason of Bowie State and Philip Taylor at Virginia Union a couple of seasons ago. That was an ugly day. That was a cold day in Charlotte. The game went overtime. Shaw and Virginia Union. Philip Taylor had a super day. But Jamez Massey putting himself all over the record books in the CIAA Football Championship. 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 catches in the championship game.
26, 21, and 53 yards on the TD receptions. But now for Elizabeth City State, they've got to get moving. Antonio Huff hauls that one in for a short gain. And 10:30 to play, trailing 34-19.
Well, it's not inconceivable if you're Elizabeth City to get back in the game, but you've got to have a drive that doesn't take up 7-8 minutes, get in the end zone. Then you've got to find a way to stop Winston-Salem. It looks like right now they're all oiled up and ready to go.
Over the middle, and the pass incomplete to Gary Langston. This Rams defense came in #1 in scoring and total defense in the CIAA, only giving up 279 yards. And a big third down here for Connell Maynard's defense. And for the Elizabeth City State offense and Naaman Jones, they've got to keep the ball. Jones over the middle. It's going to be close to the marker.
So if you keep Strickland, you've got to take that route deeper than the sticks and then come back to the ball. You can't take it underneath and then try to hope that you can make it yards after the catch in that case when it's a short 6 or 7 yards. You got to take that route. If you need 7, you got to take it 8 or 9 and come back to it so that you know when you catch it, you have the first down. Fortunately enough, he's able to stretch and get that first down.
Curtis McGill was there on the stop. Ball on the 35 for Jones. He's got time. Jones will run with it. And shoved out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. That was Kendra Reed, the senior, coming up defensively.
Kendra Reed been kind of quiet today. We haven't called his name as much as maybe we did a couple of weeks ago, but a very, very solid player for Winston-Salem State. Malcolm Rowe, Fields, Munkin, Pulliam all having pretty solid games as far as tackles go. Rowe so far with 10 tackles.
Give Jones 5 on the keeper. A senior under center completes another pass and another first down.
This offensive line very much maligned early in the year. They had to try to find different combinations for Elizabeth City, but doing a nice job this time of protecting Naaman Jones. And you've seen when Jones has time to throw, the receivers will do a good job getting open. He'll find you.
Anthony Jones hauled in that first down. Ball moves up to the 47. Jones again over the middle. This will pick up a couple and bring up second down. That's Petey Boone out of the backfield.
Get the idea that Elizabeth City trying to pick up the pace a little bit offensively, but the passes, even if they're short passes, have got to be complete. You got to be moving forward. You can't have a lot right now the ball touching the ground.
Elizabeth City State 315 yards of total offense. Winston-Salem State 391. Jones overthrows the intended receiver. That'll bring up a third down. Winston-Salem State defensively pretty much the entire game has taken Durante McNeil, the outstanding tailback, out of this game.
Well, that was part of the game plan, and a lot of situations too. Winston-Salem has given them the short pass. They'd rather give them the short pass and let McNeil break away for a long play.
3rd and 7. Boone's open, and he'll be short of the first down. Now bring up 4th down.
Another good job of open field tackling this time. Curtis McGill, you thought Petey Boone may have had enough room to make the play, make the first down, but a very solid tackle. Been impressed with McGill today. Been good in getting the defensive back and also making some tackles in the open stop.
Yeah, the senior from Lincolnton has stepped up at some key moments. That was one there on 3rd down, and this will bring up 4th and 2. Ball on the 45. McNeil back in the game. Here's Jones. He'll fire it. Incomplete. Keith Strickland couldn't haul it in. And on downs, the ball will turn over to Winston-Salem State. And Strickland knows just how important that first down was. And the Viking faithful starting to see this one slip away.
Coach Boulware dials up some more pressure this time. They put more guys in the box and Elizabeth City could block. They got to get rid of the ball fast. Strickland, this is about the 5th or 6th time today where there have been catches that look like may have been caught by Elizabeth City. Goes through the hands of Keith Strickland. Winston-Salem gets the ball one more time in great field position.
8 minutes left to play in the ball game. This is Lewis over the right side and nowhere to go as Devin Price, big senior from High Point Andrews High School, making the stop.
Connell Manor in no big hurry now to run plays. They'll just take their time. Carruthers has done a very good job managing the game, especially in the second half when he's come in. Big runs, nice touchdown pass. If he's the heir apparent from Winston-Salem State, I think Ram fans can be pretty excited about the next couple of seasons.
Looks like they're in good shape with the redshirt sophomore quarterback. 2nd and 9 from the 46. Clock really becoming a factor now for Elizabeth City. This is Lewis, still driving those legs hard. And a first down for Winston-Salem.
Maurice Lewis, 17 carries, 102 yards. Again, this is a guy that missed a lot of this football season, had his biggest game early in the year against Morehouse. We had 15 carries, 135, but just a grinder. You know, the funny thing about him was that he came to Winston-Salem. They weren't sure if they were going to play him at a wide receiver or running back, what position. Played behind Nick Cooper. Cooper was more of a power guy. Last year, they were a bit thunder and lightning, but certainly has come into his own as the primary running back this season from Lumberton, North Carolina. Was a swimmer. Played football, swam.
How about that? Ball remains in Lewis's hands. They had a nice shot there, the defensive front for Elizabeth City State. Warren, Barrow, Price, Davis, those big guys been in the trenches all day.
Yeah, but the offensive line just too dominant of Winston-Salem State. How many times a day can we talk about what they've done? Caleb Carter comes in and replaces Hartung. It's a good job pulling. It all starts, and it's funny when you talk to Connell Maynard, he can't give enough praise to Marcus Lawrence, the all-conference center. He says, hey, he's our anchor. He does all the line calls. He knows everything that's going on offensively for our team. And we're going to go a lot of times as far as he's going to carry us. Marcus Lawrence, two-time CIAA performer.
2nd and 9 from the 42. Carruthers scrambling. Still on his feet. Wisely chuck this one towards the sidelines. Nice sportsmanship that time. As you see Nigel Rios come over and slap him on the helmet and shoulder pads. Rios had a big first half defensively for Elizabeth City, as did Brad Davis, number 42. We talked about how potent Brad Davis was in the first half. He was getting to the quarterback, getting in the backfield. Winston-Salem State found number 42 here in the second half, and he has been unable to wreak the kind of havoc defensively as he did in the first half. The clock continues to roll on with just 5:30 to play. And now we've got a whistle on the field.
Reset. Clock never stopped.
Please reset the game clock to 5 minutes, 35 seconds. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
So you hear Eric Green and his crew have done an outstanding job here this afternoon.
You have to think, as Elizabeth City time begins to wind down for them, they look at Winston-Salem State. Winston-Salem will probably go in as a 1 or 2 seed in the NCAA playoffs. Will probably have a bye, have their first round game, maybe Thanksgiving weekend up at Bowman Gray. And the Elizabeth City, you got to think they'll be 7-4. They'll announce the Pioneer bid on Monday. Tuskegee and Fort Valley are playing in Atlanta tonight. So you got to think that it's going to be Elizabeth City, although Johnson C. Smith had a very solid year.
Brothers, too much heat on it as he tried to find Butler.
Johnson C. Smith had a very solid year. St. Augustine's, if those two schools should tie in it, Johnson C. Smith knocked them off. So you got to think it's going to be either Elizabeth City going to the Pioneer Bowl or either Johnson C. Smith, I would think, to represent. I don't think Elizabeth City will get an NCAA bid. They're not in the top 8 in the regional standings. So Winston-Salem State goes again and did it. Hey, they set all kinds of records last year, 13 wins, and Moach in the CIAA, Moach for an HBCU. Got to the semifinals, losing a tough game to Wayne State.
Nigel Rios back to return the punt. He's going to let this one just bounce. Ball will be down.
Rios back for the punt that time.
At about the 13-yard line. 49-yard average today for Landon Thayer, and he's done a good job here today. So 5:17 left to play here in Durham. Had a great crowd and a great afternoon for our CIAA championship game. As you take a look at the sidelines and our MVP player of the game, Jamez Massey, simply has been outstanding. 3 touchdown passes, done a banner job receiving punts, and Jamez Massey and the Winston-Salem State Rams are oh so close to a second straight CIAA championship.
Huge game for Massey. 6 catches, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. Told you that set a CIAA record. Next year, if you're watching the CIAA championship, that might be your nationwide trivia question. Who set the record for most touchdown receptions? Just remember that you might have been tipped off. We tell you Nick Cooper for rushing, but a huge game for Massey today.
34-19. And Winston-Salem State, you know, Stan, we talk, how could this, well, you know, if this team is faced with adversity, how would they respond? They got down 9-0 early. Team kept fighting, ended up leading the locker room 14-9. Then your starting quarterback, Cameron Smith, the offensive player of the year in the conference, goes down with an injury. It's a tight ball game. And Elizabeth City State did what they could to hang in there, but a lot of credit to Anthony Carruthers in this Winston-Salem State offense as they just continue to move forward and put points on the board. So 4:15 and counting here. As the Vikings, you know, will not quit. Well, here's our nationwide insurance play of the day. And who else but that guy? Number 82, Jamez Massey, and our nationwide play of the day. And here's an interception, and that should do it here for the Rams. Dominique Tate with the pick. And the red, white, and black on their feet here in Durham.
They've had some success with the short route. This time he just jumps the route. Naaman Jones gets a little careless that time because they've been giving him that. Just quick toss, boom. That's the pick. Take the ball home. Get ready to celebrate yet another CIAA championship. And the record for Connell Maynard becomes more and more impressive. 33-3, and we were talking about those first 35 games. Pete Richardson, in his first 35 games, the legendary coach went 26-8-1, only to be matched by Bill Hayes, who he replaced.
Rams are going to throw it down to Butler, and looks like we're going to have an interference play here in the end zone.
We know it's going to be on a number 4. Which one, we don't know. But you go back to those numbers and you look at just what a great run it's been. And then you start thinking about the great history of Winston-Salem State and how they've had some outstanding football coaches. We'll see that this fall. Yeah.
So that'll go against Butler, and it was Jamal Williams who was trying to throw it to him.
When you think about Winston-Salem State, a lot of people don't, they think about football. They know about the great run Bill Hayes had. You know about what, Pete Richardson, who replaced him, and then Kermit Blunt came in, and Kermit Blunt's winningest coach in history, went 16-16-3 in his first 35. But did you know that Big House Gaines was also a football coach? And Coach Gaines, who we know is the winningest coach in black college basketball, didn't do too bad as a football coach. You look at his first 35 games, he won 18 of them, lost 13 and tied 4. And that last year when he was coaching, 1948-49, he went like 8-2-1. So there's been a lot of lineage in football at Winston-Salem State as you see Lewis continue to pick up more yards that a lot of people kind of forget about, because you think of Winston-Salem State, you think about Earl LaPearl, Cleo Hill, but hey, Timmy Newsom was a great running back. We heard from Don Levin yesterday. This guy Lewis, you never know. Nick Cooper was one of the last cuts of the Green Bay Packers last year. So a lot of great history, and you got to congratulate Elizabeth City on a fine effort for Winston-Salem State. Just, I guess we can call it the primary official. All the election returns are in. 99% say I think Winston-Salem State's got this. Before I go, I got to give Durante McNeil, and let me talk about McNeil after this play.
3 minutes left to play, 34-19. This is Lewis again. Hard going there at the line of scrimmage.
Well, McNeil might be playing in his last football game if they do get to the Pioneer Bowl, obviously won, but he set a single-game rushing record in CIAA, 290 yards last year. Single-game rushing attempt with 44. He just set again this past week. How about this? Single-season rushing touchdowns last year of 22. Points scored last year of 140. And as of going into this day, 4,689 yards rushing for Durante McNeil and 54 career touchdowns. So I just got to salute Durante McNeil and what they've been able to do at Elizabeth City State University. The coaches and Bill Hart, and Dan Hurley, and Montero Hand, who was a great player, and Willie Gillis. They're disappointed today. Sean Thomas and Steve Rankin and Cedric Platt. Platt was a nasty guy. Sean Thomas. This guy, you really feel for this guy. Waverly Tiller, one of the class acts in the CIAA's and the NCAA committee. And his He's gotten his team to the championship game 4 years in a row, and each time he's run into a buzzsaw. They lost on a last-second field goal the first time they were in 2006. Lost to a very tough Shaw team right here. In the last 2 years, they played one of the best teams in CIAA football history in Winston-Salem State University. But if I know Waverly Tiller, next year, they'll be right back at it, chopping wood again, as he likes to say.
So Thayer will punt it away. This lofts one up. And about 1:53 left to play here in Durham. And Elizabeth City State will trot back on the field here. You know, if you're going to beat the second-rate team in the country, you've got to play error-free football, too. Elizabeth City State has had their share of opportunities, but they've also had some ones they'd like to have back to. 3 turnovers, and of course the muff punts, 2 muff punts come to mind. 3 turnovers for Elizabeth City State, 1 for Winston-Salem State here today.
Before I forget, I want to thank April Emery, the SID at Elizabeth City, and Kevin Mans and his staff up at Winston-Salem for just another great job, and all the sports information directors in the CIAA that continue to help us throughout the year. Adrian Ferguson's been a big help up at Fayetteville State. You know, Anthony over at St. Augustine, and Sherry Fillingham over at Shaw, among others. And can't forget about my good friend Greg Goins up at Bowie State, just to name a few. And I know I'm leaving off the other half of them, but still, they know I love them. And I just want to thank them for everything. Lamont down at Johnson C. Smith.
Well, they make our jobs easy, and we certainly say thank you.
And the great thing about the SIDs, and this is not a plug for them, this is just honest, they're all good people. They're all good men and women that work very hard and care about their schools and about their competencies of their job. So I just want to thank all of them and the ADs and everybody, all the fans that watch CIAA football and follow us on Masson and especially on Bounce Network. And, you know, Bounce carries inside the game, and then they follow that back up with CIAA football, and looking forward to basketball. And this year we'll have the first, you know, live basketball game in prime time during the season. Go up to Elizabeth City, actually, up to the Vaughn Center.
Looking forward to it.
Basketball in the middle of the week against Virginia Union, and so Bounce is carrying that. They'll carry the tournament, so we thank them for everything they do. And all the fans, like I said, in CIAA, it's been a good football season. So, you know, support Winston-Salem State and the NCAAs, and probably Elizabeth City in the Pioneer Bowl, if not J.C. Smith. We'll see you in January, good Lord willing.
So under a minute to play as Winston-Salem State, a team picked to do great things this year. They have certainly done great things as they will remain undefeated. And with under a minute to go, the crowd's on their feet as the Rams close in on another championship. And an interception to seal it. And maybe the first time I've seen a teammate tackle a teammate, but
Carlos
I love it by
so
Carlos Fields.
One more tackle a day.
Does that go into stats? Does that go into stats? But that's what they're playing for, folks. That right there is what we are playing for here today. CIAA championship trophies.
Those guys look like that's kind of heavy. Oh, they already got the plate ready. They already got it. They already got Winston-Salem State.
Yes,
got the plate ready. George Knox and his crew said, look, we're going to get the plate ready. There's George over there in the light suit in the corner. Jackie Carpenter, the commissioner, is going to do a great job, and we thank her and her staff. Cheryl White, can't thank Cheryl enough. And congratulations to Winston-Salem State. We'll see you in the playoffs. Kevin, get my credential ready. I'm coming.
It will be the 10th CIAA championship for Winston-Salem State as the clock winds down for Connell Maynor, who brought his team back here to Durham, looking for a second straight title. And Connell Maynor and his second-ranked Winston-Salem State Rams will bring home another trophy. Winston-Salem State 34, Elizabeth City State 19, the 2012 champs of the CIAA.
University 19.
You take a look at Waverly Tiller, his 10th season, one of the class acts in all of CIAA football, as he'll congratulate Connell Maynor. Maynor, a third-year head coach, has built a powerhouse, continually a powerhouse in Winston-Salem. This Rams team faced some adversity this afternoon from a Elizabeth City State squad that came with full barrels loaded. But Winston-Salem State showing you why they are the #2 ranked team in the country. They did it on offense. They did it on defense. They had to withstand the pressure up front by Elizabeth City State. The Vikings defense came hard. Their offense put some points on the board early. But in the end, it was all Winston-Salem State. For our entire crew here today and throughout the season, Stan Luter, I'm Scott Przwanski. The championship trophy returns to Winston-Salem. The Rams are CIAA champs.
Right now.